Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I welcome all of you for today's session. So today is our first session related to sociology. And first and foremost, I thank all of you for exhibiting your interest associated with the same. So sociology as a discipline is not just very interesting, but it is also something which shall ensure your journey further ahead. The students who have been added to the group, I believe that you all are able to have basic access to all that I have written. Today morning itself, I wrote a brief note associated with how the course shall be conducted. So, all right. So, all the students, good afternoon, Shubham, and like all the other students who have rotated Soumya and like I can see Romitanshu, Jyotirmoy, everyone, thanks a lot and good morning. So today when we are going to like start off with our basic insights, Ananya, Swagatika, all of you individually, good afternoon to all of you. Now, so, and please do not use the pen on the screen. Today I did like enabled that possibility for all of you so that you just learn the basic tools. If I see that you're struggling with the basic tools, then I shall disable you from writing on the board. Now, as we are going to start with today's session, I believe that today I will be giving a brief overview associated with how the entire subsegment should be conducted, as in what is going to unfold in the next 5 months to come, because everyone must be curious that how the sociology course is going to be conducted, how about the study material, some basic queries. So I'll take up the basic queries and simultaneously I'll be also addressing the correlation between the chapters and how we can develop the content accordingly. How the the subject matter shall be approached and how the order shall be maintained in the forthcoming sessions. So, when we are going to start off with the basic discussion associated with the discipline, I would be highlighting the insights first and foremost pertaining to what is the discipline all about. So, sociology, when you all are going to start off with, I believe that you have opted for this optional because society, you will be finding some basic insights associated with what all needs to be connected with in this larger society and how is it going to make you a better civil servant, and how is it going to facilitate your journey further ahead. So it being the very first session, I'll be addressing those basic queries associated with the discipline. So first, the duration of the discipline will be somewhat around 15th of December, little early also, it is possible. Last year, I completed it by 7th or 8th of December. So we can consider it by 15th max. Generally, I do not take breaks in the session. I do not believe in taking breaks because I believe once we start the course, it should keep rolling. This week itself, this week, like today, it is Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. So Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we'll be taking 3 sessions this week. Next week onwards, it will be Monday to Thursday. Okay, Monday to Thursday. This will be only for July, so that on Friday, you all have time to prepare notes of sociology. How the notes should be prepared for the sociology as a discipline, that is something which I'll be teaching you in the class. Along with that, after like July is over, in the month of August, I will be taking 5 sessions each week. That is Monday to Friday, the sessions shall be there. This is an earnest request to all of you that please keep your mics mute. Let it not create a trouble for any of us. तो someone has got unmuted. अच्छा, आज मैंने लिबर्टी ले ली थोड़ा सा ये मतलब मुझे सोचना चाहिए था simultaneously that no one gets, so people just take care of your microphones, all right now. So when we are going to unfold the sessions in the month of August, you'll realize that August onwards, like the moment you complete a sizable chunk in July, I will be conducting a test. The initial tests will be easier. They will be like comprising of basic questions associated with the chapter or 2 chapters that you have studied. And simultaneously, as the course unfolds, you will have regular tests related to the chapters that have been completed. Every chapter, whenever it is completed, the PYQs shall be discussed related to that chapter. I will be creating 2 Telegram groups for all of you. Presently, there is a management group where all the students are getting inducted. The second group will be an academic group, which will be for academic purposes. I shall be creating that group probably today or by tomorrow, and I'll be adding all of you individually. In that group, I'll be posting all the reference material. Like, let us say, if I'm talking about IGNU, or I'm talking about TB Baltimore, or if I'm talking about any relevant information associated with RIDS, or maybe the sociology dictionary. So I'll be posting all those soft copies of those books or materials in the group, so that if any of you who cannot purchase a book can have access to the soft copy related to the requisite pages where you are struggling, so that whenever you're getting stuck with any information, any detail, any data, you can just refer to it and you can simultaneously get an understanding of the same. My number shall be available to all of you individually. I'll be sending to each one of you all the mail IDs and the phone numbers that the management has shared with me. If you have shared your mail ID and we can say the contact number with the management, so I will be reaching out to you personally, and simultaneously I'll be giving access to the drive to each one of you. Through the drive, you can have access to the recorded sessions. So all the sessions that I'll be taking today onwards shall be recorded, and it shall be
বলো
provided to all of you via
বলো
the drive link. It will be easier for you to access. Go to your
বলো
Gmail. The Gmail, who is
শুরু
unmuted
হয়ে গেছে,
today?
বলো। আরে ফোনটা কি যে হয়েছে বলো।
ये होता है का online class, and
বলো
that is
না।
okay. No problem. Once in a while, this nuisance is going to erupt today only. Okay, tomorrow onwards, I'll unmute each and every one of you, irrespective of whoever is there. आप लोग फिर पता है unmute क्यों आज रखा था? So that anyone wants to talk to me directly can unmute and talk to me. Not that unmute करके बोलूँ ना की बोलचीस, ये सब नहीं background में आना चाहिए. Whoever is from Bengal, Kolkata student, please take care of not getting unmuted. Now, so as I was sharing with all of you, that you will be having access to the drive. So through the drive, what is expected from all of you is that in the drive link, I will be sharing the link to the recorded session. It will be one link, and the second link will be associated with your lecture. That is the content, the handout that you should be reading. It will be the reference material related to the chapter. One thing which I refrain from is majority of the times I do not dictate, as it is a online session, and in online session dictating beyond a point becomes too mechanical, boring and tedious. So I take care of this given possibility that I do not dictate beyond a point. I do not. I prefer making flowcharts, explaining the concepts, and whatever has to be dictated, I provide it in the form of a handout. So a student refers to the handout and gets to understand that this is what ma'am would have dictated in the class. All right. So this is saves our time from dictation. You can just take a printout of the same. The institution shall be providing you booklet, not the handout. There will be two pieces of information that will be shared with you. One will be the handout. Handout will be related to like these 10 chapters from paper one and the 10 chapters of paper two. In fact, it won't be 20 handouts per se, because a lot of chapters are merging in nature. A few chapters which are there in the paper one syllabus, as all of you can see over here. For example, if I want to show you. So here you can see there are topics like politics and society, religion and society, systems of kinship, social change. So all these topics are also there in paper two sociology. So I will be giving a consolidated handout related to these topics, like politics and society, paper one, let's say 15 pages. Again, politics and society, paper two, let's say another 15 pages. So politics and society will be one consolidated handout, identifying what is related to paper one, and then later what is related to paper two. So things will be pretty organized. You won't have to struggle with organizing the content per se. Now, as I shared that the notes or the material will not be majorly dictated, it will be majorly explained in the class. Lecture means the capability to make you think, visualize, capability to like sharpen your analysis, capability to push you into the world of thinking, connecting, understanding, analyzing. Um, what's this? No. Okay. So when we are talking about the same, I would like to say that, your capability to think, analyze, connect, and simultaneously build upon the given possibilities. All right. So when I would be like building upon the basics associated with these given chapters, what I expect from all of you while I'm explaining the chapters related to the handout and underlining the keywords in your handout, if you are using a soft copy and you have a tablet and you have a pen or a styler and you are able to save whatever you are underlining or writing or drawing a flow chart, then that's a great approach. You can have a soft copy version of the handout. That's not a problem for me because you're able to write in the handout. But if you are still in the old school mode, and that's perfectly fine, then in that situation, please take a printout of the handout and write on the handout individually, like physically with a pen. So either ways is acceptable, but you should be able to write on the handout. You should be able to, like, let us say, develop content out of the handout. Now, whatever I underline in the class helps you to prepare the keynotes or the gist. Many students who struggle, notes कैसे बनाना है, notes कैसे बनाया जाता है. So that is something which I'll encourage all of you to understand, that all the toppers prepare their own individual notes. If you want to have a glimpse or a sneak peek how toppers prepare their notes, I can share a few of the toppers' notes from the past years. You can have a look that this is how they are preparing their notes. If you want to get inspired how they are engaging with their notes. But do remember, the basic content is same for all the students across India, like opting for sociology. No one is going to add some new theory for Karl Marx. Karl Marx shall be taught by any teacher and shall be the keynotes shall be prepared by any student as similar one. But how a student engages, how you are writing, how you are, like, identifying with the material, what do you write first and what do you write next, how you are enlisting the examples, how you're connecting it with the current affairs will be very unique to you. That is something which your friends won't be able to do that. That is something which any of the student who borrows your notes will not be able to reproduce. जो लिखता है उसी का नोट्स होता है. तो इसके बावजूद कि मैं आप लोगों को शेयर कर दूंगी टॉपर का नोट्स, प्लीज बी वेरी वेरी मच अवेयर ऑफ दिस बेसिक फैक्ट दैट यू डोंट हैव टू रिप्रोड्यूस दैट नोट्स. वो उस बच्चे का नोट्स है. चाहे मैं आपको अनिमेश प्रधान का शेयर कर दूं या मैं मान लीजिए आपको मतलब किसी भी एज सच जो इस साल का जो बच्चा टॉपर है सोशियोलॉजी का उसका शेयर कर किसी का भी अगर कर दूं. बट प्लीज डू अंडरस्टैंड that given possibility is something which is exclusive to that student who is performing accordingly. It is that student's journey. It is not your journey. ओके तो अपना नोट्स खुद बनाइएगा. मैं आपको एक बहुत बेसिक सी बात बताती हूँ बिना उस स्टूडेंट का नाम लिए. 2 years back I taught one of the students and he was a sociology student who was writing the mains this year. नाम इसलिए नहीं लूंगी क्योंकि अच्छी चीजों में नाम लेना चाहिए, नेगेटिव चीजों में नहीं लेना चाहिए. इस साल जब मैंने उस बच्चे से पूछा, भी मेंस उसको लिखना 8 हफ्ते में, 8 वीक्स में, मैंने उससे पूछा तुमने नोट्स बनाया है, की नोट सारे चैप्टर्स का. बोला मैम शुरू शुरू में बनाए थे उसके बाद बंद कर दिए. मैंने कहा रिवाइज कैसे करूंगे? तो इट लाइक मैम हैंड आउट पूरा पढ़ लेंगे. मैंने कहा और अगर लास्ट के 16 आवर्स है मेंस का एग्जाम लिखने के और तुम्हें रिवाइज करना है तो क्या तुम एक बंडल हैंडआउट्स रिवाइज कर सकोगे? तो ही वाज लाइक टेकन अबैक. आई वाज लाइक अब जितना टाइम बचा है जान प्राण एक करके नोट्स बनाना शुरू. मेक की नोट्स व्हिच यू कैन रिवाइज. Because if you have to revise the entire syllabus of sociology paper 1 and sociology paper 2, you need to learn how to prepare your notes yourself. You have to pay attention to sociology every single day, at least 4 to 5 hours. You have to. 4 to 5 hours means 2.5 hours of session, and at least 2 hours, like to 2.5 hours individually in your own capacity. इस तरह से दिसंबर तक आपका ऑप्शनल कंप्लीट हो जाएगा. आपको दिसंबर एंड या जनवरी फर्स्ट वीक में मैं कंसोलिडेटेड टेस्ट होल्ड करूंगी. एज आई टोल्ड यू दैट आई विल बी टेकिंग टेस्ट्स आफ्टर एवरी like 1 or 2 chapters that you keep completing. Once your chapters are completed, all the chapters are completed, then I will hold a consolidated test of paper 1 and then consolidated test of paper 2. Means complete test. Complete test means total 19 questions in paper 1 and 19 questions in paper 2, just like UPSC exam. All right. So as I shared with all of you that every single chapter, my pedagogy means method of teaching. ऐसे नए word सीखिए because you find these words even in general studies GS paper 2 chapter of education. So you should be easy with these words. Okay. So my pedagogy of teaching and reaching out to you will be, first, it will be through the lectures primarily. So I'll be giving you the handouts. The handouts will be nothing but what I would have dictated in the class. Rather than dictating, I will be providing the insight of that chapter in very simplified language that is in the handout. So you'll be reading the handout, and while explaining the concepts from the handout, I'll keep underlining the keywords and I'll also keep making flowcharts. It is expected that every time I write something on the board, you shall be noting it down and you shall be underlining the keywords. All right. Another key insight that I can give to all of you associated with this handout is that use the handout as the base material. You can always qualitatively update the handout. You can always qualitatively add more insights to the handout. How? So suppose if you're reading some material, like let's say you are reading IGNU or you're reading TB Baltimore or the booklet that I'll be sharing with all of you. Booklet. As I shared, that handout तो मैं soft copy में share करूंगी आप लोगों से आपके mail ID पे, लेकिन और आप उस नोट्स पे टच करेंगे ना, जो ड्राइव का लिंक मैं भेजूंगी तो उसमें आपको दिखेगा नोट्स. सो एज द चैप्टर स्टार्ट गेटिंग इंट्रोड्यूस्ड, नोट्स विल कीप गेटिंग एडेड टू योर ड्राइव लिंक and you can keep downloading those handouts. But the booklet related to sociology will be nothing but a consolidated insight from various books. Suppose I want you to read a couple of pages from social stratification of Harlembus and Holborn. Or suppose I want you to read a couple of pages related to Parsons and Merton from Abraham and Morgan. Though other than Abraham and Morgan, a very great insight is given even in IGNU. But I'll be giving you from Abraham and Morgan, okay? Because you cannot purchase so many books. Again, like let's say in chapter 1, if I want you to read sociology and common sense or comparison between sociology and other discipline from T.B. Baltimore. So I have got those paras typed already from those books and consolidated in the booklet. All right. So that is in the booklet. So booklet is nothing but reference material that you use from your, like, I don't know how many of you are from humanities background. If you are not, you don't need to worry, because let me share, every single year, about 90% of the students who take admission in sociology are from non-humanities background. Forget about sociology as a background. Majority of the students, they have done BTech or they have done MBBS and then they opt for sociology. There is a reason to it. I'll be talking about it just in a short while, but related to the handout as I was sharing. So those students who are from non-sociology or non-humanities background, those students find it tough to read from various sources. But students from humanity background, they know this because during the college days, this is what is done. A professor teaches a chapter, and after teaching the chapter, the professor says, oh, from X book, page number this much to this much, if you read and support your answer with that information, your answer gets enhanced in quality, right? So you will be finding that in the similar manner, the way a university professor helps to first fix the basic concepts and then add, like I would say, qualitative insights from different other books, I will be doing the same. Because in the end of the day, the question paper is made and evaluated by a senior university rank professor. Okay, a university professor is the one who's making the question paper and evaluating your paper. So somewhere my method of teaching will be more pro-university type, despite maintaining the insight of the competition. The insight of the competition is your answers are at all times bureaucratic in nature and they exercise all the insights with precision. मतलब सार गर्भित उत्तर जिसमें सभी मूल बिंदु हों. तो सार गर्भित होना means precision is one of the key virtues of a bureaucrat. A bureaucrat should not expand upon the insights unnecessarily. A bureaucrat should at all times provide the insights exhaustively so that the content is very much, I would say, meaningfully oriented. Okay. And within limited frame of words, the person is able to make a meaningful impact in terms of writing and articulation. All right. Now, सो जैसा कि मैंने आप लोग को बताया, फर्स्ट एंड फॉरमोस्ट आई बी गिविंग यू द हैंडआउट के अलावा आपको पढ़ने का मन है, रेफरेंस करने का मन है, तो आपको जो मतलब हैंडआउट्स के अलावा मिलेगा बुकलेट. ये दूसरा वर्ड है, दूसरा लेवल ऑफ कंटेंट है बुकलेट. अगर कोई नया बच्चा है, उसको टफ लग रहा है, हाय बुकलेट नहीं पढ़ा जा रहा है, हैंड आउट पे स्टिक कर। हैंड आउट अगर तुम्हारा एकदम अच्छे से इंटरनलाइज्ड, इफ यू हैव इंटरनलाइज्ड द हैंड आउट प्रॉपरली, then you don't need to be scared related to how to go ahead with the preparation part. All right, so like at all times what every student should focus on is like being very thorough with the handout. No shortcuts to the handout. हैंडआउट पूरा याद होना चाहिए और हैंडआउट का पूरा नोट्स बनकर तैयार होना चाहिए। फिर उसके बाद एक्स्ट्रा एडिशन में क्या होना चाहिए, जो बुकलेट आपको हार्ड कॉपी में मेल किया जाए। मतलब अगर मान लीजिए आप जिस भी लोकेशन पे हैं, लाइक let's say if you are in Bhubaneswar or if you are in Kolkata, you'll receive it from your regional center, the booklet itself. And if you're in Lucknow, you'll receive it from the regional center itself. If you are located in Bhopal or elsewhere, then I will be mailing those booklets to you. Okay, so India Post जितने भी दिन में आपको वो receive हो जाए. So that's what you will be taking care of now. So but handouts are the basic, always remember that आपको handout minimum mastery होना चाहिए। नोट्स कैसे बनना चाहिए, दैट्स वन थिंग व्हिच आई ऑलवेज एनकरेज स्टूडेंट्स टू लर्न इन द वेरी फर्स्ट गो। सो सपोज यू हैव टू प्रिपेयर योर नोट्स, ऑलराइट, सो हाउ शुड द नोट्स बी प्रिपेयर्ड, लेट मी गिव यू एन इनसाइट एसोसिएटेड विद द सेम। सो सबसे पहले हर बच्चा ये बात को याद रखेगा कैसे नोट्स बनाना है। सपोज दिस इज योर लाइक लेट्स से पेज, तो क्या करना, हमेशा सबसे पहले अपना सिलेबस रखना ओपन, सिलेबस का एक एक डिटेल सबसे पहले सिलेबस को पेस्ट कर लेना। You don't need to copy it. You can always take a printout and you can paste the syllabus in A4 size pages. I always encourage students to go ahead with A4 size pages. तो पूरा syllabus एक बार consolidated form में उसको यहाँ paste कर देना। उसके बाद next क्या करना, always like let's say you are going to start with sociology the discipline. So what you should be doing is like let's say sociology the discipline है आपका, ठीक है, तो sociology the discipline लिख कर और उसके बाद you should be like going ahead with 5 boxes। ये 5 boxes आपको माइक्रो मॉनिटर करने में हेल्प करेगा कि आपने 5 बार रिवीजन किया उस चैप्टर का या नहीं किया। मिनिमम 5 रिवीजन इज अ मस्ट फॉर एवरी सिंगल चैप्टर। It is then that you internalize the language. Please remember, every discipline comes with its own unique language. Like let us say you are studying economics. तो इकोनॉमिक्स पढ़ते वक्त क्या आपको इकोनॉमिक्स के नए वर्ड्स मिलते हैं, राइट? सो वर्ड्स लाइक okay, so financial inflation, stagflation, right? Simultaneously repo rate, reverse repo rate, sustainable development. So in the similar manner, you will be finding that a lot of technical jargons, the way you have in economy, science and tech, ethics, in the similar manner, there are technical words even in the discipline of sociology. Sociology के भी अपने technical words। जितना बेहतरीन आपका रिविजन होगा उतने ही वो वर्ड्स इजीली आपको याद होंगे। रिविजन कैसे होना चाहिए? सो रिविजन आई विल बी एनकरेजिंग ऑल ऑफ यू 24 आवर्स, 48 आवर्स, 7 days, 15 days and then 30 days, इसको फॉलो करिएगा। 24 आवर्स एंड 48 आवर्स, ये दो जैसे ही आप करते हैं आपको कॉन्सेप्ट लगेगा पूरा याद होने लगा। आज क्लास में पढ़ा 24 घंटे के अंदर, मतलब नेक्स्ट सेशन से पहले एक बार रिविजन। Second revision should be like just the next day. Third revision should be after 7 days. Fourth revision should be after 15 days. And fifth revision should be after 30 days. Yes, 7, 15 and 30. These are super quick revisions. Quick revision of keywords. When you are doing quick revision of keywords, you are able to recall. When you are doing the quick revision, you are able to recall the details. That yes, I can remember this keyword and the details related to the keyword. Suppose if you experience, यार keyword तो समझ में आ रहा है पर इसका डिटेल भूल गए, इसके डिटेल में क्या डालना, that can happen once in a while. So suppose if you feel that you can remember the keyword but you cannot recall the detail, if that is happening to you, then I shall encourage all of you that then revisit the notes, read the details, get back to the keyword, okay, and then elaborate the keyword a little. Probably the keyword that you have written is too precise. So that's how you edit and update your notes according to your palette or your suitability. Okay? So first revision, second revision is super quick. You run through the keywords when you are running through the details and the keywords both, first revision. Second revision, you are running through a few details, majorly keywords. But third revision onwards, it is just keywords. Like third revision, fourth revision, fifth revision, seventh day, 15th day, 30th day. Keywords, keywords, keywords. If you're forgetting the details, then you're coming ahead with the given possibility. All right. So this is how you are going to revise. A definite level of revision boosts your memory and it facilitates the possibility of preparing the material properly. Then comes the handouts. ये handouts जो कि मैं आपको समझाऊंगी. Handouts के साथ क्या करना है? Revision boost करने के लिए first और second day आप क्या करेंगे? आप handout से बनाएंगे note. So then someone has got on YouTube. Congratulations. कल से मैं किसी को मौका नहीं दूंगी बात करने का. मैं ही बात करूंगी. आप लोग मेरे को रेज कर मैसेज लिख दीजिएगा and then I'll this is Redmi Pad say who again gets unmuted. So this is what? No, who has got unmuted? Someone? Okay, no. Okay, fine. So issue sorted. Now, so with respect to this, when I was talking about it, so handout and from handout, we are preparing notes. What are notes? Notes are just the keywords which boosts memory. Okay, keywords for memory. सो ये हर एक हैंडआउट का बन जाना चाहिए. रिवीजन के टाइम यही नोट्स आपको काम आएगा. रिवीजन एक्चुअली इसी का होता है. फ्रॉम दिस देन द नेक्स्ट स्टेप दैट यू नीड टू डू इज यू हैव टू सॉल्व द पीवाईक्यूज. आई विल बी हेल्पिंग यू विद द अप्रोच ऑफ द प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चन. इस चैप्टर से ये क्वेश्चन बना है, इसके आंसर में ये और ये सेगमेंट आएगा. व्हाट विल यू डू? After listening to the approach, you note it down in the class, note down the approach in the class, go back and at home ऐसे बोल रहे जैसे offline हर बच्चा बैठा है. Many of you are sitting at the comfort of your home. So what you will do is that once the lecture is over, you have taken a little break. After that, solve that previous year question. After solving the previous year question, in the sense, see the question paper and the approach that I have guided, open your notes. After seeing your notes, make the answer. Do not attempt without seeing the notes. Don't think that within one understanding of the lecture and one reading of the notes, you can start writing the answers. You are more like a toddler who's learning how to walk. एक बच्चा होता है चलना सीख रहा होता है तो धपाधप गिरता रहता है. तो बिना वॉल के सपोर्ट के, बिना सोफा के सपोर्ट के या चेयर के सपोर्ट के चल नहीं सकता. योर कंडीशन इज जस्ट लाइक दैट. So my lectures and along with the lectures, the handouts will work as the support of the wall. Open it, refer the answer and then develop the content. Suppose you are getting stuck with a previous year question and you are unable to develop the content at all. आपने नोट्स खोला, आपसे बिल्कुल नहीं हो रहा. आप बोल रहे हैं यार नोट्स भी खोलकर मेरे से आंसर नहीं लिखा जा रहा है, बिल्कुल असंभव लग रहा है. In that case, you can always post it. You can always share it to me that, ma'am, I need some help. Can you help me with the content, the language of the answer? You have discussed the approach. I have understood the approach. Yet, after opening the notes, I'm unable to develop the content. So can you please help me with the content? Just write this much to me. And I will send you the entire detailed content of that material, of that previous year question paper. लेकिन हर हाल में मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द क्वेश्चंस, प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चंस का क्या होना चाहिए आपके पास? एक आंसर, एक फ्रेमवर्क. ठीक है? इट शुड नॉट बी जस्ट द अप्रोच, इट शुड बी एटलीस्ट द फ्रेमवर्क. इन द इनिशियल डेज यू हैव टू गो अहेड विद द डिटेल्ड लैंग्वेज ऑफ द फ्रेमवर्क. ऑलराइट. बाद में प्रो हो जाओ ना तो उसके बाद चाहे 5 क्वेश्चन का अप्रोच लिख देना, 5 का लैंग्वेज लिख देना, चलेगा. लेकिन इन द इनिशियल गो ट्राई टू राइट एज मच एज पॉसिबल. It is writing which brings expertise. All right. This is about previous year question. I hope everyone is understanding. If you find some new words, any new word in sociology, new word or some impactful sentence, please write the new words or the sentences that are unique to you and you feel that you can forget it in one piece of paper or maybe 2-3 pieces of paper. This will boost your memory. It will make you more accustomed with the new terms and terminologies you are coming across and your tendency to connect with it. हो सकता है ये न्यू वर्ड्स और सेंटेंसेस जो आप 1 या 2-3 पेजेस में लिख रहे हैं, इसकी आवश्यकता आपको 1 साल के बाद नहीं पड़ी. हो सकता है आफ्टर एन ईयर यू फील सो कंफर्टेबल, यू आर लाइक, oh, I don't need this sheet. But trust me, when you are learning how to walk, you need to take the support of various things. So in the initial go, writing this on piece of paper will create a very, very different level of confidence in you. You're like, yes, I understand this. All those students who will not be doing all this writing work, they will be feeling that I understand what she is saying. I've heard this somewhere, Sometime in some lecture ma'am had spoken, but I can't recall the details. ये प्रॉब्लम उसी के साथ होगा जो लिख लिख के याद नहीं करेगा. So ये बहुत old school method है, but trust me, this is the most tried and tested method, that is writing and memorizing. लेजी मत बनिएगा, लिख के याद करिएगा. मैं आपको डेफिनेट लेवल ऑफ सक्सेस प्रॉमिस कर सकती हूँ, बहुत जबरदस्त तरह से आप चीजों से कनेक्ट करके रिप्रोड्यूस कर पाए. ऑलराइट, I believe it's like worthy of connecting and understanding. Everyone is getting it, all right? Now, along with this, हो सकता है a few chapters, especially in paper two, even in paper one, a few chapters. So a few chapters, they need constant reflection and updation. Whenever there is a tendency to update with current affairs, or we can say contemporary affairs would be a better word. So update with contemporary affairs. ठीक है, जैसे 2018 में कार्ल मार्क्स का डेथ सेंटेनरी, सॉरी बर्थ सेंटेनरी मना रहे थे. 200 years of his birth centenary. तो क्या हुआ कि 2018 में कार्ल मार्क्स के रेलेवेंस पे बहुत सारे अच्छे आर्टिकल्स छपे अक्रॉस द वर्ल्ड. So across the world, people started talking that is Marx relevant even after 200 years? What is the contribution of Marx in shaping today's world? So that is why I call it contemporary affairs. Because current, something like it happened today or this year and it is asked in the exam, such questions or scope is relatively less. There is a higher scope or higher possibility of asking questions which have a broader reference. Broader reference in the sense it has been in news for quite some time and then it comes in the examination. Like, for example, when we are talking about women's movements. So in women's movement, all of you will be able to see that when we are talking about it, we can talk about the anti-hijab movement that took place in where? It took place in Iran. Okay, so in Iran, the anti-hijab movement that took place a couple of years ago, like it has been constantly in news for last 2 years. So it could have been, like we can say, women's movement in 21st century. That can be a question today. That could have been a question 2 years back. That can be a question even after 3 or 4 years. So that's why I call it contemporary affairs. So a few chapters definitely need that update. Like you have a chapter work and economic life. There you have the dimension of division of labor. You have organization of work. So with respect to organization of work, okay, Omer, you want to ask something? You can just unmute yourself and you can talk. So like with respect to this organization of work, you can have informal organization of work, and informal organization of work gets connected to gig economy. It gets connected to the informal sector, globalization, liberalization, privatization, right? Yes, yes. So you should be able to connect with all that, and simultaneously you should be able to raise the like concerns. Yes, yes, Anirban, very good. If you're able to recall the Masa Amini and you're able to connect with any additional book that you can read apart from the notes and handout. Okay, well, with respect to any extra material, if any one of you is curious that what else should be read, well, if you, there are two ways to go about with this extra reading. As I told you, the handout will be nothing but extra reading. It is extra reading other than the, I can say that, I'm saying handout, sorry, the booklet. The booklet will be an extra reading other than the handout. So suppose if I am teaching you sociological perspectives in chapter 2, then I will be taking a sizable insight and orientation from none other than Harlumpus. So I'll be posting the soft copy of Harlumpus book in your group. If any one of you is interested to read that book in soft copy, you can do so. If you want to take a printout of the requisite pages and read it, you can do so. Or what you can do is you can totally rely on the session. It's completely okay, either of the ways. One. Second thing, I can encourage all of you that if you want to, like, there are two ways to go ahead with reference material if you want to go ahead with more than this. Generally, students who have not taken admission in this course, to them, I give them an exhaustive list because that is the bare minimum that a student should go about with. But students who have taken admission, with them, I just say that rely on the handout and the booklet and extra material that I keep posting in the group regularly, because that will fix 90% of your booze. Contemporary affairs is something which I keep adding whenever it is in news. Even those batches that I have completed 2 years back, if I have anything which is going on in news, I keep, if I don't only share with the present group or the group which is presently taking the classes, I also share it with the old groups. And with batches which are 3 years old or 4 years old, I keep encouraging them. If anyone is writing the mains, please get in touch. I will provide all the reference material or whatever is required, any doubt in sociology or whatever subjects I teach. I will be providing a free of cost assistance. You don't need to even bother about anything. Just focus on your preparation and keep asking whatever are your doubts. I shall reach out to you seamlessly. So that's how I go ahead with the beginners and the senior students. So if you are like, let's say a beginner and you are struggling कि मैम एक बस बुक कुछ अगर easy सा हो, एनसीईआरटी टाइप का हो, थोड़ा बेसिक मेरा फिक्स कर दे, तो मैं कह सकती हूँ यू कैन गो अहेड विद एसेंशियल सोशियोलॉजी नितिन सांगवान. नितिन सांगवान की बुक से सिलेक्शन तो नहीं होगा, लेकिन आपका बेसिक्स हो जाएगा. अगर कोई नितिन सांगवान पढ़ रहा है तो मैं उसको फिर एनसीईआरटी नहीं कहती हूँ पढ़ने के लिए. एनसीईआरटी मत पढ़ो 11th 12th की एनसीईआरटी जो 4 एनसीईआरटीज है. स्टैंडर्ड 11th has 2 एनसीईआरटीज, स्टैंडर्ड 12th has 2 एनसीईआरटीज. Then you don't need to go through it because Nitin Sangwan will fix the basics that is required. Nitin Sangwan is not sufficient because the critical analysis which is required for the examination, whereby you need to be able to debate and discuss over the topic, whereby you need to come up with a list of, we can say, critiques related to every subtopic, and the insight associated with, we can say, application of the topic. How is the topic applicable in present world, in present times? That is something which I encourage the students to, we can say, develop it accordingly. ठीक है. तो वो कैसे होगा, तो मैं जनरली स्टूडेंट्स को यही बोलती हूँ कि आप सांगवान से भले बेसिक्स कर लीजिए, लेकिन सांगवान आपका करंट रेलेवेंस और क्रिटिकल एनालिसिस डेवलप करने में सफिशिएंट बुक नहीं है. ठीक है, लेकिन बेसिक्स आपका वो फिक्स कर देगा. एक बेसिक ओवरव्यू कम शब्दों में आपको सांगवान से मिल सकता है. अगर किसी को एक अच्छे क्वालिटी की सुपरलेटिव बुक चाहिए तो हार्लम्बस एंड हॉलबॉर्न इज अ वन स्टॉप सॉल्यूशन फॉर मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द टॉपिक्स रिलेटेड टू सोशियोलॉजी पेपर 1. For paper 2, I generally go ahead with a lot of books like Veena Das is a must. Veena Das की हैंडबुक टू सोशियोलॉजी के अलावा आप देख सकते हैं उसमें डेविड मैंडलबॉम की बुक बहुत अच्छी है. मैंडलबॉम के अलावा मैं जैसे पॉलिटिक्स एंड सोसाइटी में गाबा की बुक से कुछ इंसाइट्स निकाले जा सकते हैं. कुछ में आपको जैसे योजना में बहुत अच्छा इंसाइट्स निकला था सुमा चिटनेस मैम का एक बार बहुत पहले, उसी तरीके से देयर वाज like that's how I actually talk. So every single chapter in paper 2 sociology actually needs update from different sources. So paper 2 becomes, that's why it becomes more dynamic in nature. ठीक है. थिंकर्स वगैरह तो आपका कुछ हद तक रीना दास मैम के साथ हो जाएगा, बट लाइक यू नो इट नीड्स अ कांस्टेंट अपडेशन because it is more relevant, it's more contemporary. This is what I can suggest. Right. So should we purchase topic wise PYQ book? Yes, that will be helpful. If you can purchase a topic wise PYQ book, I will be sharing the, like CN Shankar Rao is good. CN Shankar Rao is for paper 2, it is good. A few topics are missing and contemporary reflection is missing, but CN Shankar Rao sir is good for paper 2 because critical analysis उसमें फिर भी दिया हुआ है. ठीक है. Ravi Narayan Mishra, as you are asking for the PYQ, I will be sharing the PYQ with all of you in the group itself. जो आपका academic group में बनाने जा रही हूँ उसमें मैं 2 तरह का PYQ शेयर करूंगी. एक PYQ होगा last 10 years का और एक बुकलेट होगा which is associated with last 35-40 years. ठीक है, मतलब लेट 1980s मतलब 1984 से लेके अभी तक के सोशियो के सारे क्वेश्चंस उसमें रहेंगे 2019 तक. तो 1984 टिल 2019 उसमें रहेगा और फिर एक 10 ईयर क्वेश्चन पेपर तो वो आपको दूंगी, वो टॉपिक वाइज वो भी रहेगा. सो दैट्स व्हाट आई विल बी शेयरिंग. सो बट इफ यू वांट अ फिजिकल बुक रवि, यू कैन गो हेड विद अ फिजिकल बुक एज वेल. सो सीएन शंकर राव इज गुड एज आई सेड. मैम पेपर 1 के लिए कौन सा बुक रेफर कर सकते हैं? जैसा मैं बोल रही हूँ, अगर आप बिगिनर हो तो आई विल बी एनकरेजिंग ऑल ऑफ यू टू गो हेड विथ नितिन सांगवान इंट्रोड्यूसिंग सोशियोलॉजी. बिगिनर्स के लिए अच्छी बुक है. ठीक है. Or will your notes and handouts be sufficient for paper 2? Yes. Along with that, just a bit of update. That's it. If you don't go for any other book, yes. my handout with the booklet, and along with that the current material which I keep posting related to paper. Is it compulsory to keep a referral book? You will be getting a lot of referral books from my side only, Prakriti. So you don't need to bother about that. All right. Daily the class will be held at this platform. Yes, because till last time I used to have a portal. I mean it's still there. So I used to have the portal and बच्चे जो है आधे portal में ही struggle करते थे. यहाँ चले गए इसके बाद फिर किसको दबाए फिर कैसे खोले लाइव लेक्चर कहाँ से देखें. तो अब बीच लेक्चर में मुझे होता था उसको कैसे बताएं लाइव लेक्चर. फिर आफ्टर क्लास आई यूज्ड टू अगेन मेक अ वीडियो, शो द स्टूडेंट देखो ऐसे 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 करके फिर वीडियो देख सकते हो. तो कटिंग डाउन ऑल द टेक्निकल ग्लिचेस एज लाइक जूम पे पढ़ा देती हूँ और ड्राइव पे मैं एक्सेस दे देती हूँ क्योंकि बच्चे शायद इन मीडियम से ज्यादा इजीली फेमिलियर है. तो आपके मेल आईडी पर मैं आपको भेज दूंगी और ऑन द कॉन्टैक्ट नंबर दैट यू हैव प्रोवाइडेड टू द मैनेजमेंट आई विल रीच आउट टू यू. दैट इज हाउ यू विल गेट माय पर्सनल नंबर एज वेल. Okay. And you can always drop a text if you're struggling with any topic or any content. You can always take a screenshot, you can share that. So that's how you can always reach out to me personally as well. All right. So other than this, so should we make note from handout? Yes, I'll be teaching you how to prepare notes from the handouts. All right. Handout is nothing like out of the world. It is just a simplified language of the core content that has to be understood related to the chapter. All right, understood, everyone? Fine. So this is a basic approach which I shared with all of you. And what's the basic approach? हर बच्चे को syllabus पता होना चाहिए. Syllabus का एक detail, जैसे मान लिया sociology या discipline है, उसका पूरा detailed chapter का एक एक sub point एक पेज में चिपकाया और उसके साथ रिविजन का 5 बॉक्सेस बना ताकि एक एक कितनी बार रिवाइज क्यों होता रहे. एक बार रिवाइज किया कि 3 बार रिवाइज किया कि 5 बार रिवाइज कर दिया. यू कैन माइक्रो मॉनिटर योर ओन रिविजन. अगर आपको किसी चैप्टर में लड़खड़ाहट हो रही है, if you are stumbling and you are shaky in a chapter, you know why, because it is right in front of you whether you are able to complete 5 revisions or not. After 2 months or 3 months, if you are shaky in a chapter, you know your own personal history, what you have done with the chapter. Are you getting it? So it's your own self-created report card. Handout is something which I'll be providing. Notes is what you will be preparing from what I'll teach you how to prepare notes. In the initial go, if anyone is struggling with preparation of notes, suppose notes बनाया लगा अरे अरे मैम अगर देख लेती तो कि मेरा notes ठीक तो बन रहा है, you can always share that. You can share a page or two, and I can always approve whether the notes is going in the right direction or not. Simultaneously, previous year question, whenever I discuss, please note down the approach, and after the approach, then write down the elaboration. Okay. So approach will be in the class, and elaboration is something which we will do as a homework. All right. So elaboration is by self. If you get stuck in this, then in that situation, I will be providing the elaboration. Any question which you find is tedious. Okay. Then any new words or new sentences that you find in the chapter which inspire you or you feel, oh, it's different, please note it down. All right. Along with that, a few chapters require updates. So this is the 7th step that you can consider. So step 1 is wholesome syllabus in your hand. Second is your own review report card. Third is the handout. Fourth is, as all of you can see, the notes. Fifth is the PYQ. Sixth is the new words that you write down. And seventh is the updates. All right. Along with this, sociology has different types of questions. So I'll be talking about first the types of questions. Should we start answer writing after completion of every chapter? Yes. Ma'am, if you're comfortable, can you please share your contact numbers? Yes, I will be sharing it individually to each one of you, to all those students who will be, like the management provides me the list that these are the students who have taken admission. They will be receiving a personal message from me, and I'll like tell them that on which mail ID I have given them the access to the lectures, recorded lectures, as well as the handout notes that they can take the printout. So all that will be shared individually. How to add current affairs and notes? I gave the example of the issue of women's movement which is taking place in Iran. So the anti-hijab movement is current, and then you are connecting it with the chapter of social movements. That's how you connect it. Aparna. All right. So there are a lot of topics which constantly need that kind of update. And I'll be sharing which are those chapters. Like, let's say there's some issue related to reservation, some issue related to caste system. So that goes to the chapter of caste. So that's how you keep updating the given insights. All right. I believe everyone is connecting so far, so good. Okay. So this is my pedagogy, how I'll be going ahead with the given subsegment. You will have my contact number, and individually you will be able to reach out to me. And if there is any query, presently the mains exam is on 22nd of August. So I'm looking into those students also personally. I try to give at least two students time per day. That means 2 hours is dedicated for them. So any student like feeling that, oh ma'am ne abhi maine message kiya, abhi jawab nahi diya, there's a possibility that I have like an evening class, so probably you're texting at that time, because 6 to 9 I have a session for the next 20 days. And so I won't be able to respond during that time. After the session also, I like, take a catch a breath. I have my dinner. I feel like taking a walk and talking to my parents and all that miscellaneous activity. So after that, I get back to the phone before sleeping or the next morning when I get up. So you shall be receiving a response within 24 hours for sure. And for sure means really for sure. Then I was talking about the nature of questions that UPSC asks related to sociology. You should be aware of that as well. There are generally four types of questions asked by UPSC. These four types of questions are related to any exam, not just like sociology optional. This is for even, I would say, the GS component as well. This is something which many students don't know, and that's how they get troubled. हाय हाय मेरे से PYQ सॉल्व नहीं हो रहा है. ठीक है. तो कैसे क्वेश्चन यूपीएससी पूछ रहा है, अगर हमें ये पता चल जाए तो हमें ये समझ में आ जाएगा कि किस कैटेगरी का क्वेश्चन नहीं सॉल्व. Rather than losing faith and confidence that I'm unable to solve UPSC question paper, a student starts saying, I'm able to solve level 1, level 2, or level 1, 2, 3, or level 1, 2, 3, 4, or only level 1 questions. So, what are these levels of questions? We'll be talking about that. All right. So when you'll be coming to Lucknow, I'm taking the session from Lucknow Center right now. So you can speak to the management why they did not keep you posted, because I had seen the advertisements that they had placed that from this and this date sociology session is starting, and that's why in Lucknow Center presently I have students sitting in front of me, Aparna. So probably you are not posted. Be there tomorrow and day after. So this is Aliganj Center. And what is paper one and paper two? Where what is the difference in the approach? Soon I'll be discussing that, Swagat. So the class will be held from Monday to Saturday. No, whoever is like talking from OnePlus, congratulations for joining the session late. I had discussed this, that when the sessions will be held. I repeat once again for all those students who joined the session late. This week, the session will be today, tomorrow, and day after. That is Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. But in the group, the management group that has already been created, and most of you have already been added, you can see that I have posted there that the session will be from Monday to Thursday. So in July, it will be Monday to Thursday. Again, please remember, only in July, it will be Monday to Thursday. So that on Friday you have one day to prepare notes. You cannot complain that, oh, I'm not getting time because weekends I have my GS tests and my extra classes and this and that. You learn how to prepare notes in precision in the month of July. And August onwards, as the lecture is unfolding, you are constantly making the notes. So in the month of August, you will be finding Monday to Friday classes. Monday to Friday, I repeat. All right. Now, as I was talking about the four types of questions. So what are the four types of questions that UPSC asks? One question is pretty direct in nature, direct. And these direct questions are like associated with the keywords of the chapter. जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल यहाँ दिख रहा है सोशियोलॉजी एंड कॉमन सेंस. Discuss the relationship between sociology and common sense. कंटेंट है, नोट्स में दिया है, एज इट इज रट लिया, एज इट इज जाके उगल दिया. दीज आर डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चंस. जनरली यूपीएससी ऐसा 20% क्वेश्चंस रखता है. ऑन अ हाई साइड कभी यूपीएससी आप पे मेहरबान हो गया तो 30 कर देगा, बट इट ऑलवेज ट्राई टू स्टिक टू 20%. 20% ऑफ द क्वेश्चंस विल बी डायरेक्ट. देन कम्स द सेकंड कैटेगरी ऑफ द क्वेश्चन. Okay, and that is the indirect question. So indirect question ये थोड़ा लीड करता है. ये आपका हो सकता है लगभग 40% क्वेश्चंस जो है ये आपका इनडायरेक्ट क्वेश्चंस हो. सो व्हाट इज दिस सो कॉल्ड इनडायरेक्ट क्वेश्चन? इनडायरेक्ट क्वेश्चन जो है वो यूपीएससी कुछ ऐसे पूछेगा, कॉमन सेंस वर्ड नहीं देगा, बाकी सारी कहानी दे देगा. And sociology derives its insights from our day-to-day references, whereby it is observed and it is articulated. Yet, not every articulation qualifies as sociology. Critically analyze the given statement. अब आप सोच रहे हैं डे टू डे रेफरेंसेस से सोशियोलॉजी बन रहा है, लेकिन हर डे टू डे रेफरेंस सोशियोलॉजी नहीं होता है। तो अब कुछ बच्चे इसमें फंसेंगे और वो लिखने लगेंगे, क्या लिखने लगेंगे, तो वो लिखना शुरू कर देंगे फेनोमेनोलॉजी, एथनोमेथोडोलॉजी, वो सब लिखना है, बहुत ब्रीफली लिखना है। उसमें जब बोल रहे कि हर डे टू डे रेफरेंस की चीज सोशियोलॉजिकल नहीं होती है, तो इसका मतलब वो चीज क्या होती है, कॉमन सेंसिकल, क्योंकि उस पर हम क्रिटिकल एनालिसिस, व्हाट वेयर हाउ या एक साइंटिफिक इंक्वायरी नहीं रखते। कुछ चीज हम बस फेस वैल्यू पे ही बिलीव कर लेते हैं। So whatever we believe in the face value and we don't inquire how, what, why, it does not become sociological. Are you getting it? So common sense word बिना इस्तेमाल किए भी common sense पे question बन सकता है। तो ये होता है indirect questions. ऐसा किसी भी टॉपिक से रिलेटेड हो सकता है. It can be related to this or it can be associated with any of the chapters which are underneath. Understood? This is second type of question. Then comes the third type of question. When we talk about the third type of question, the third, and remember these four types of questions are associated with every, like, sorry, it is associated with every type of UPSC question paper. ठीक है, मतलब ये चीज मैं दूसरे तरह से जीएस के क्लासेस में समझाती हूँ। जीएस के क्लासेस में यही बात दूसरी तरह से समझाती हूँ, वहां पे दूसरे एग्जाम्पल्स होते हैं या एग्जाम्पल सोशियोलॉजिकल। थर्ड क्वेश्चन होता है विच इज इंटर टॉपिक। यूपीएससी लव्स दिस इंटर टॉपिक या इंटर चैप्टर, जो भी समझो। So inter-topic or inter-chapter questions, these will be again like 25% at least. नहीं, उल्टा। मैं कह रही हूँ दो चैप्टर मिक्स करके पूछेगा। अब समझ में कैसे? आपको उठाया, suppose one of the topics like from here, modernity and social change, you can see that, and UPSC says that. Now here it's written modernity and social change in Europe. फैमिली तो कहीं नहीं दिया है, लेकिन आपको नीचे एक चैप्टर है फैमिली मैरिज किनशिप, which all of you can see, it is here a bit. So here you can see family household marriage, दिख रहा है सबको? So this is chapter 9. तो चैप्टर 9 को यूपीएससी उठाएगा और चैप्टर 9 उठाकर और उसको क्लब कर देगा किसके साथ? क्लब कर देगा चैप्टर 1 के साथ और बोल देगा due to modernity and social changes occurring in Europe, what kind of impact can we witness in the systems of family and kinship? अब आप बोल रहे social change and modernity in Europe I had read, but how social change and modernity impacted family at that time, oh my god, that's a different chapter. So students tend to get confused in such questions because it is not related to one chapter, it is related to two chapters. Background is coming from chapter 1, but the content is developed from chapter 9. So clubbing the two and asking a question. ये वो क्वेश्चंस हैं, वो ये आप तभी कर सकते हो जब वो चैप्टर, दोनों चैप्टर हो चुका हो। Okay, whichever two chapters are in concern, till the time you have not completed both the chapters, you cannot deal with those questions. Understood that? So these are the third category questions, inter-topic or inter-chapter. Inter-topic, when I'm saying maybe within the same chapter, two topics are combined and asked. Okay, and sometimes inter-chapter means two chapters are combined and asked. Okay, there is a possibility that indirect questions को कभी examiner 20% कर दे और इसी को 45%. That also can happen. Getting it? So UPSC loves to play between these two areas. These two areas are favorites of UPSC. So whenever we say, oh, UPSC questions are very tough, we actually indicate to these two categories because they rule the roost. Means about 60 to 70% of the questions are connected to category 2 and category 3 questions. Category 1 and category 2 question means direct questions and indirect questions. I'll be able to do it immediately as the chapter is completed. But this third level of question I cannot do till the time the next chapter has been completed, means the chapter in concern has been completed. Only when that chapter is completed that we can connect both the chapters and then discuss those questions which had been asked in sharing. I hope that's making sense, right? Okay, then comes the fourth category questions. The fourth category questions are contemporary in nature. These are the contemporary questions. So contemporary plus the theory. So contemporary plus the theory. This can be 15 to 20% of the question. 15% to 20%, not more, but at least 15 to 20% of the question paper. So suppose COVID is going on and they'll connect COVID and they'll connect migration of the labor class and then they'll ask it in paper to sociology. Because you have labor in paper to urbanization. And in a paper to urbanization, they connect it with, like, let's say, reverse migration. They discuss the phenomena of reverse migration taking place and how is it going to impact the demographic nature of the given regions from where the labor is migrating. So what demographic impact it is going to cause to urban area and what impact it is going to cause to rural area. तो ये हो गया contemporary questions. कुछ न्यूज में है, चल रहा है लगातार, आपके थियरी में, आपके सिलेबस में वो टॉपिक है, कनेक्ट करके यूपीएससी पूछ देगा. एंड देन यू आर लाइक, ओ ओके, आई हैव नॉट read it somewhere, I have not, like, learned about it. And these are the questions which make students pretty nervous because these 15% questions are connected to the current affairs. So when I say current affairs, I would say contemporary, be thorough with 2 to 3 years of current. That is something which is essential. Not everything for the last 2 3 years, I repeat, not everything. Only those issues which somehow sustain themselves. Those issues which somehow survive the test of time. Okay, so those issues can be picked up and they can be taken up. Like, for example, gig economy. You understand gig economy? Have you heard gig economy? Any one of you in GS classes? It was asked in GS paper 1, it was asked in GS paper 3, economy. That means economy का PYQ नहीं solve किया है, भले chapter पढ़ा. PYQ साथ में solve होना चाहिए. And it is also asked in sociology. So gig economy, okay, someone has responded, good. So when we are talking about the gig economy, we all can, okay, Anirban, you have only written yes. Now, yes can be written by anyone. I think many of you can write yes. What I actually expected was the answer. So gig economy is associated with that informal sector which is ever expanding due to the presence of all these online platforms, Swiggy, Zomato, you have all that, right? Instamart, you have those delivery apps, whether it is related to food or packaged items or articles or daily grocery or whatever, right? So, and in this gig economy, we can see that not only the people are associated with it, but we can also see, yes, contract-based job. Very good. So when we are talking about these people who are coming up and providing all kinds of services, now in paper 2 sociology, the question that was asked in contemporary segment, it was like how women are associated with the gig economy. Okay. And in GS, the gig economy was asked with respect to how it is impacting our economy in general in one place, and in second place it was associated with how it is a byproduct of globalization and liberalization. Okay, so you had to connect with those given possibilities and then you had to develop the answer. Now gig economy, though it was asked 2 years back also, 3 years back also, last year also, and this year also it can be asked, it can be asked 5 years later also. So these are the issues which I call contemporary. Okay, so anything which is rolling in news constantly in and around us, that is something which can be facilitated as a question and we should be capable of responding to the same. Right? So I believe all of you are understanding the pedagogy, how I'll be teaching, how you have to study, how you have to prepare the notes, what is going to be the duration of the session. So I told you till December mid. I told you that in July, यहाँ पे लिख भी देती हूँ, कोई बच्चा फिर बाद में हल्ला किया तो. So July में हम रखेंगे क्या? Monday to Thursday, except this week, because this week we are starting the session on Wednesday. So today, tomorrow, and day after till Friday. And in August, we will be having it Monday to like Friday. This is what. And this should be over by December. This is what I expect the sessions to be. One of the batches had completed the session in 86 sessions, and the last batch completed it in 95 sessions. So it's completely up to you. If you're fast, you're sharp, you're able to connect quickly, then I will be completing the batch probably a few sessions less. If you're struggling with a chapter, you need more lectures on that chapter, I can stretch up that like a component and then I can complete it within that given subset. I hope that's doable and understandable. Okay. All right. So with respect to this, now let us understand, will the sociological parts of GS be covered in optional? Yes, of course. Whatever is there in optional is my like game, and I'll be explaining that in greater detail. And if anything is connected to general studies and also optional, that also I'll be explaining. Suppose I have taught a chapter and there's something in GS which is associated with that chapter, I'll share it in the group so that you all can read and you can connect. If you want a basic discussion in between the class, also I can take a pause and explain all that. Now, comes the approach associated with the discipline, how the topics are interrelated. You need to understand that because this is the first session, so I wanted to connect. भाई ये चैप्टर सिलेबस तुम्हें मिल जाएगा ऑनलाइन रिसर्च करोगे सोशियोलॉजी सिलेबस सो you'll find it. You want to take a picture of the syllabus, no? But you can find it online also. I'll paste the syllabus in the group also. Okay, now going ahead with this. What you need to remember is you have to take down these things, the types of questions, the pedagogy, or rather the way I have to prepare the notes, the 7 steps. Okay, so all this had to be noted down by all of you. So the 7 steps of preparation, then the types of questions, ये सब note down कर लेना. ठीक है. अब आगे जब मैं पढ़ रही हूँ तो मैं आपको बताना चाह रही हूँ what is the correlation between the topics. Now the first topic suggests sociology, the discipline. This is the very first chapter that UPSC wants you to know. Means sociology, what is sociology and how this discipline is coming into existence. In simple words, the background of the discipline. If I talk about the background in a brief way, because we will be discussing it in detail with the chapter and the unfolding of the chapter. So the very first subtopic, modernity and social changes in Europe, is something which connects to European history in GS. You must have studied in European history. I believe all of you have studied the three revolutions. That is, you have heard of French Revolution, right? Okay, good. Then you must have heard of Industrial Revolution. And you also must have heard, like, if any of you online has not attended these GS sessions, that's perfectly all right. I'm talking about जीवन में कभी तो सुन ही लिया होगा यूरोपियन हिस्ट्री के अंडर, बस वही कह रहे हैं, ठीक है. So when we are talking about French Revolution, Industrial Revolution, and we are talking about intellectual revolution, okay. So when we are talking about this intellectual revolution, this is associated with post Renaissance period of enlightenment. Renaissance सुना है, Renaissance, ठीक है. हाँ हाँ, मैंने और क्या लिखा था, यूरोपियन हिस्ट्री लिखा था ना. तो बस यूरोपियन हिस्ट्री क्या होगा, वर्ल्ड हिस्ट्री का हिस्सा होगा, राइट. ओके. So with respect to this intellectual revolution, we all can see that there is this is connected to period of enlightenment. What is this period of enlightenment? उसी टाइम पर जो आप लोग हो सकता है जीएस पेपर 4 एथिक्स में आपने सुना होगा कुछ थिंकर्स लाइक जॉन लॉक, रूसो, मॉन्टेस्क्यू, वोल्टायर, है ना, थॉमस हॉब्स. All these thinkers are connected to period of enlightenment. तो सबसे पहले रेनेसांस आता है या रेनासा, whatever you pronounce it, and after that comes the period of enlightenment. These three revolutions, if I talk about them, so these three revolutions are the ones which are paving the way for sociology as a discipline to emerge. Why? Because these three revolutions, they create a culture of inquiry. Culture of inquiry. You understand what is culture of inquiry? Yes, people, culture of inquiry. Inquiry means raising questions. Inquiry means interrogating. Inquiry means investigation. So investigating, interrogating, questioning. So the culture of inquiry, what should be there, why it should be there, how it should be there, it starts during this period. Because prior to this, if you see, in the 13th to 15th century, people in Europe, they were overwhelmed by monarchy. Monarchy was constantly taking grip or control over whatever was happening at that time. Other than them, we can see there were feudal lords also, and the lords also had like control over definite chunks of land, and they used to support the monarchy by paying off taxes and stuff, right? You all must be able to recall all that. So when we are talking about what unfolds in Europe and how it starts impacting the people, we all can see that how the entire scenario starts shaping and how it starts impacting the given possibility. So, first and foremost, we all can understand that how things are unfolding. देखो यूरोप में यही 13th to 15th सेंचुरी का टाइम पीरियड है जब इंक्वायरी एनकरेज नहीं होती थी. इट वाज नॉट एनकरेज्ड लाइक. And remember, please don't try to make notes today, because today I'm just trying to create an overview. Today I'm trying to build your basic understanding and linkage with sociology. Once this is done, I will enter into the chapter. All right. So when I'm talking about the given possibility associated with the given chapter, first and foremost, I'm trying to build that how this discipline is emerging. ये subject exist ही कैसे किया, या existence में आया ही कैसे. ठीक है. तो in this, you all can witness that how the change starts unfolding. तो जैसा मैंने बताया कि 13th से 15th सेंचुरी के बीच में यूरोप माना जाता है कि इट वाज लिविंग इन द डार्क एजेस, है ना. उससे पहले इनफैक्ट बिफोर 13th सेंचुरी इट इज कंसिडर्ड लिविंग इन द डार्क एजेस. The problem is when Europeans feel that their history is the world history. It's European history. It's not world history per se. वर्ल्ड हिस्ट्री में फिर एशिया की भी हिस्ट्री आनी चाहिए, अफ्रीका की भी हिस्ट्री आनी चाहिए, लैटिन अमेरिका की भी हिस्ट्री आनी चाहिए. ठीक है. इसीलिए कोई भी सुधी जन जो भी थोड़ा पढ़ा लिखा है वो उसको वर्ल्ड हिस्ट्री के जगह यूरोपियन हिस्ट्री बोलना प्रेफर करता है. तो इन लोगों का मानना था कि उससे पहले वर्ल्ड क्या था, डार्क एजेस में था. जबकि हम ये चीज इंडिया या एशिया इन जनरल, चाहे जापान हो गया, चाहे हम कह सकते हैं चाइना हो गया, इसके लिए नहीं कह सकते, बिकॉज this part of the world was intellectually quite titillated, quite, we can say, deep into inquiries of existence and also scientific innovations and discoveries. You can see China had made such brilliant breakthroughs with mariner's compass, with, we can say, printing press. And we can see the Indian Buddhist philosophy had spread across Asia, and it had impacted the Zen philosophy, it had impacted the philosophy of Japan, not just that of China. So we could see that a lot of principles, a lot of ideologies were spreading. It is considered that Upanishads are one of the best philosophical dialogues or inquiries made in the world. Upanishads are less of a religious book, and they are more of, we can say, books which are associated with a conversation between a disciple and a teacher, whereby they both are engaging in a debate and a dialogue, and learning is taking place through debate and dialogue. So this culture of inquiry means you're questioning and cross questioning and counter questioning. So this culture of questioning, cross questioning, and counter questioning, it had existed. It existed exhaustively in the eastern, the oriental part of the world, the eastern world. It was already existing, but it was not so very prevalent in the western parts. So we all can see that जो यूरोप है वहां पर रिलीजन का बहुत इन डेप्थ इम्पैक्ट था. ओल्ड टेस्टामेंट को वो लोग बिलीव करते थे, क्रिश्चियनिटी का डोमिनेंस था मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द यूरोप में, दो दे हैड फ्रिक्शन विद अदर एब्राहमिक रिलीजन. But Judaism or the Jews, they were just concentrated as minorities, and the Muslims were pushed to the Central East Asia. Okay, so Central Asia में आपको like या Western Asia you can consider. So Central and Western Asia में आपको जो Muslims हैं वो spread मिलेंगे उस time period पे. But when we talk about Europe, you see there is a definite impact of Christianity. You'll be like Christianity का क्या लेना देना इससे है, और वो इस तरीके से. So anytime a scientific inquiry was made, but it was not fitting into the debate and dialogue of what was mentioned in the Old Testament, people started questioning it. They started not only renunciating it, but they also started like getting into a conflicting relation with that given possibility. So जैसे कि for example आप देखेंगे Galileo Galilei, he was put under house arrest for the simple reason that he believed in heliocentric theory rather than geocentric theory. What is heliocentric theory? Helios, sun. Heliocentric, when you believe that all the planets are moving around the sun. We are constantly like revolving around the sun, and we are also rotating on our axis. And that's how day and night is happening. And that's what Galileo Galilei presented. But the we can see the European society refused, and they considered him to be someone who is an atheist, someone who is a non-believer in the religion, and someone who will spread his beliefs and he'll corrupt the society, he will corrupt the people with his insights. So he was put under house arrest. A similar treatment was done to Copernicus. राइट। फिर आप इटली में भी एक थिंकर को देखेंगे जिनको मैं फिलोसफी में अक्सर कोट करती हूँ, तो ही ऑल्सो अंडरवेंट दैट, इनफैक्ट उनको तो 7 years of like arrest रखा गया, under imprisonment, and when he refused, then after that he was burnt alive on the streets. So you'll find a lot of thinkers from that time period who were not treated well just because they engaged in inquiry, just because they engaged in raising questions. So, as you are understanding this bit, now please try to understand. So, when there is this culture of inquiry that is emerging, ये जब culture of inquiry आता है, तो ये culture of inquiry से क्या emerge होना शुरू होता है? This culture of inquiry leads to the possibility of a reasoning mind. Okay, reason. When you engage in reason, क्या हो रहा है, कैसे हो रहा है, क्यों हो रहा है, जो आपका क्वेश्चनिंग माइंड होता है, रीजनिंग माइंड होता है, तो आप क्या करने लगते हो, आप करने लगते हो एनालिसिस, व्हाट्स हैपनिंग एंड व्हाई इज इट हैपनिंग. When you engage in reason and analysis, that develops, what does it develop? That develops scientific temperament, right? So that develops scientific temperament. And scientific temperament is the one which paves the way for modernity. So, what is modernity? Whenever someone asks you, so a very casual question, like a casual response that majority of the students make related to the term modernity is that modern means something which is contemporary, modern means something which is scientifically very updated, modern means something which is very much like pro to current times. यही लोग generally सोचते हैं और यही बोलते हैं, modern मतलब current होगा, contemporary होगा, नया होगा, technologically upgraded होगा. Well, हो भी सकता है कि current times का हो और हो सकता है न भी हो. Modernity may or may not be associated with current times, but it will be associated with scientific temperament. What is scientific temperament, people? अभी समझाया. What is scientific temperament? Yes, very good. So scientific temperament is when you start raising questions, a questioning mind. You don't believe because someone said it. You don't believe it on the face value. Whatever is presented to you, you start asking the why. You start analyzing, you start reasoning, you start questioning. So when you question, when you analyze, when you reason, you have a scientific temperament. Because a non-reasoning mind will be a traditional mind. We say tradition, because tradition is not questioned. It is based on beliefs and it is followed. Getting it? So traditions are based on beliefs and it is followed. But scientific temperament is called scientific because it engages in inquiry, raising questions. समझ में आ गया? ठीक है? तो जैसे ही कह रहा है modernity, तो modernity does not mean contemporary. Modernity means someone who's raising a question, like Raja Ram Mohan Roy. He is considered as the modern man of India. Why? Because he questioned the practice of child marriage, practice of sati, practice of exploitation of widows. So, because he was questioning and he was changing the cultural patterns, behavior, ethos of the society, that's why he is considered as the modern man. अब समझ में आया? सो मॉडर्निटी का मतलब ये नहीं होता है कि आईफोन 13 लेके चल रहे हैं. आई डोंट इवन नो कि आईफोन 13 या 16 या 20 क्या लेटेस्ट चल रहा है. लेकिन मॉडर्निटी का मतलब लेटेस्ट गैजेट होना नहीं होता है. मॉडर्निटी का मतलब होता है दिमाग कैसा हो, तार्किक हो, साइंटिफिक हो, क्वेश्चनिंग इन नेचर. ठीक है? तो ये जो वर्ड हमारे सामने है, अब मैं इसको मिटा दूं थोड़ा आपको कंफ्यूज करने के लिए फ्यूचर में, ताकि मैं पूछूं और आपको याद रहे. ठीक है? Okay, because that's how you learn. Because if everything is on the board, you'll keep reading it and you're like, हाँ अब समझ में आ रहा है. तो मैं सब जानबूझकर अब हटा रही. ठीक है? So when we are talking about this given possibility, let us understand that what do we engage in when we are talking about sociology per se. Okay, so in this, अच्छा एक और चीज, ये जो मैं बोर्ड पे मैं जब भी अंडरलाइन करूंगी ना, तो ये अंडरलाइंड मटेरियल मैं ग्रुप में नहीं पोस्ट कर पाऊंगी, या जो भी मैं बोर्ड पे लिखूंगी आई वोंट बी एबल टू पोस्ट इट इन द ग्रुप. सो फॉर दैट यू विल हैव टू कीप नोटिंग इट डाउन. आई यूज माइक्रोसॉफ्ट एज. एज में जो भी एडिट होता है वो सेव करके नहीं रीशेयर हो सकता है. So you have to be very particular. Whatever I write on the board, I have said it. I'm saying it on day one. I'll be saying it to the last day. Whatever I write on the board, please keep noting it down. That's what is the lecture dictation all about. Okay, now, so when I'm talking about this sociology, so sociology is coming from two words, as you can see. It is societas plus logos. So logos means systematic study, or it is called scientific study. कई लोग सिर्फ स्टडीज को बोल देते हैं, बट कैसा स्टडी? सिस्टमैटिक स्टडी, ऑर्गेनाइज्ड स्टडी, साइंटिफिक स्टडी, ठीक है। और सोसाइटास जैसा आपको दिख रहा है, इसका मतलब ही होता है सोसाइटी। सो सोसाइटी की साइंटिफिक स्टडी या सिस्टमैटिक स्टडी को ही सोशियोलॉजी कहते हैं। So when we are talking about it, we all can see that Europe, it started undergoing tremendous change. And as Europe started undergoing tremendous change, people started questioning the given possibility that भाई यूरोप में तो बहुत सारा चेंज हो रहा है, तो इन चेंजेस से कैसे हम कोप अप करें। तो इनिशियली इस पूरे गेम में ना हम लोग देखते हैं कि सबसे पहले इस सिचुएशन को फैसिलिटेट करने के लिए, इस सिस्टम को स्ट्रेंथन करने के लिए कौन आते हैं? कुछ थिंकर्स जो इनिशियली साइंटिस्ट ही थे। सो दे वर अर्ली डे साइंटिस्ट। फॉर एग्जांपल, we can see there is an early day scientist called Saint Simon. So Saint Simon, you will be getting all this in notes also. If you are noting these words down, that's perfectly fine. So Saint Simon. So this guy, he comes into existence and he, he starts talking about the given possibility that let us have a systematic discipline to study society scientifically. Can we study society scientifically? Because he said, just like we can do in biology, just like we can do in chemistry, he was himself a physicist. ये बंदा खुद एक फिजिसिस्ट था। तो इसने बोला कि जैसे फिजिक्स में हम थियरीज रख सकते हैं, और थियरीज के बेसिस पे हम नेचर के या अदर इंक्वायरीज को हम मेक करके वी कैन फाइंड सॉल्यूशंस टू व्हाटएवर द सोसाइटी इज सफरिंग फ्रॉम। इन द सिमिलर मैनर we can find solutions, we can find responses pertaining to whatever is unfolding before all of us, whatever is happening around all of us in terms of the society. So he started saying that let us have a scientific discipline, just like physics, a scientific discipline to study society. Remember, initial day thinkers, they did not believe that sociology or science of society should be like we can say a discipline like history or a discipline like, let's say, political science. No, they believed it to be more like a natural science. Okay, and that is associated with thinkers like Saint Simon. So Saint Simon, he started making public speeches. He started writing a lot of insights pertaining to the same, and he started like engaging with the public at large that we need a discipline which can scientifically study what is unfolding in the society at. ठीक। तो सेंट साइमन ऐसा कर रहे थे। इन्हीं के एक अप्रेंटिस थे, इन्हीं के एक जूनियर थे, और उनका नाम था ऑगस्ट कॉम्ट। ठीक है, ऑगस्ट कॉम्ट। सो ऑगस्ट कॉम्ट ये बंदा जो है, ठीक है, ऑल दीज पीपल आर फ्रेंच माइंडेड। फ्रेंच पीपल आर इंटेलेक्चुअली and culturally quite evolved, and you'll see that they are providing leadership in the domain of philosophy and human sciences quite often. So this person, August Comte, you will be finding that he is like initially an apprentice of Saint Simon, और इनके अंडर वो काम कर रहे हैं। इनके lectures और इनके speeches को कभी कभी ये लिखते हैं, edit करते हैं। And this is how August Comte he started his journey, but Saint Simon का untimely death हो जाता है। After Saint Simon died, then what happened? August Comte continued with the journey, and he continued with this exercise. And what he did was he continued to speak in public related to having a scientific discipline to study the society. So सेंट साइमन ने नाम रखा था इस डिसिप्लिन का, जिसको आज हम लोग सोशियोलॉजी कह रहे हैं। तो सेंट साइमन ने इसको कहा था सोशल फिजिक्स। ठीक है, सोशल फिजिक्स। इनफैक्ट इन्होंने दो वर्ड बोला था, सोशल फिजिक्स एंड सोशल डायनामिक्स, सोशल स्टैटिक, सोशल डायनामिक, लेकिन उसको हम बाद में समझेंगे। इस सोशल फिजिक्स में उन्होंने कहा कि हम सोसाइटी को, क्योंकि आपको मैंने बताया सेंट साइमन वाज व्हाट, ही वाज अ फिजिसिस्ट। So he said that society can be studied, society can be understood, society can be analyzed, just like scientific discipline. This is a natural science, physics, chemistry, maths. So Saint Simon, you'll realize that this is the man who started developing the discipline in the lines of science. जैसे हम साइंस में होते हैं ना, बोलते हैं कि अच्छा नमक जो है अगर हम पानी में मिला दें, थोड़ा नींबू मिला दें, थोड़ा चीनी मिला दें, शिकंजी बन जाएगी। Okay? And if someone is feeling dehydrated, if the person is having the lemon water with a pinch of salt and sugar, the person will feel like rehydrated. The person's, like we can say, electrolytes will gain a balance. That's what we understand. So that's basic, we can say, science. In a similar manner, he said that in society also, if we understand what are the causes for the problems which are happening right now, if we understand the causes, we can find the solution. Like, for example, if we understand why a person is feeling dehydrated and we see the person is constantly sweating. So, when the person is sweating, the person is losing water and salt from the body. In the similar manner, if we are seeing that why the society is undergoing ruptures, problems, challenges, okay, the salt water, electrolyte, नमक पानी, ये सब जो मैं कर रही हूँ, ये सब मेरे एग्जाम्पल है. सेंट साइमन ने नहीं कहा था, ठीक है, उन्होंने कहा कि सोसाइटी का हम सोल्यूशन फाइंड कर सकते हैं फिजिक्स जैसे है, उसी तरह सोशल फिजिक्स हो सकता है, which is studying society, how society interesting. You'll find I'll be giving you a lot of easy examples in between in every chapter so that the chapter becomes believable for you, so that you can visualize in a chapter. कोई भी चैप्टर टफ तब तक होता है जब हम उससे कनेक्ट नहीं करते. तो क्लासेस आपको बहुत सुपर इजी मिलेंगी. यू लाइक, ओ माय गॉड, वट एवर आई हियर इन द क्लास, आई फील लाइक लिसनिंग मोर एंड आई कनेक्ट विथ इट एंड आई feel that I can understand whatever was spoken in the class. The actual challenge will be when you, whatever I have taught, when you read it in the handout, it will be in formal language, simple but formal language. Like, her class was easy, but the handout is like very formal, and at which you need to operate in the exam. So that's why underlining the handout and making notes from it is essential. All that I'm teaching today, it will be there in the handout tomorrow onwards. Okay. So tomorrow onwards, you will be seeing that whatever is being taught, it is in the form of handout. Today, I'm giving a preview associated with how the topics are connected. And because it's essential, in the absence of today's session, a student cannot develop a wholesome connectivity related to the entire course. Now, here. So as I'm talking about this connectivity between the topics, so we see that Auguste Comte is the guy after Saint Simon's death who was saying that we can have a discipline which can study the causes like taking place in the society, the problems that are emerging in the society, and along with the emerging problems in the society, if we study them, if we analyze them well, we can understand how the, like, the problems can be solved, how the issues can be solved. Okay. So whenever we are talking about this given possibility, whenever we are talking about these given issues, that how things are unfolding, how the possibilities are taking place. So if we understand the reasons, we can find the formidable solutions. If we understand why the problem is emerging, if we understand why the society is suffering, we can find the solutions. If we solve the problems, then and there, the problems, the frictions, the challenges won't erupt. Now the question is, society में क्या problem चल रहा था और क्यों चल रहा था? तो सोसाइटी में इसलिए प्रॉब्लम चल रहा था, द सोसाइटी वाज एक्सपीरियंसिंग दोस प्रॉब्लम्स, द सोसाइटी वाज एक्सपीरियंसिंग दोस फ्रिक्शंस बिकॉज द सोसाइटी वाज अंडरगोइंग चेंज. So what kind of change was happening? Yes, people, what kind of change was happening? There was economic change, there was political change, and there was intellectual change that was taking place in the society, right? So what was the economic change that was happening? Very good. It was industrial revolution that was taking place. That was the economic change. What was the political change that was happening? So people started questioning the monarchy, the authority of the monarchy, the necessity of the monarchy. Do we really need a monarchy? Do we really need a king? Why? Because Europe was completely exploited by the kings. Kings were living a life of luxury. They were living a life of abundance. And the poor people were suffering even to make the ends meet. A very infamous quotation, which all of you have heard from French history, that is of Marie Antoinette, the queen, when she was passing by, and the commoners, they said that, Madam, we are hungry. Can we just have some bread? To which she said, oh, she thought for a while, and then she said, oh, if you don't have bread, why don't you eat cakes? She could not even connect with the misery of the people that a person is unable to have enough flour to bake a bread. Cake is a luxury for such a person. So a queen who's so dissociated from the pathos of the masses, pathos and challenges of the common people. So that kind of anomaly, that kind of tragedy that the society was exposed to, that was something which was countered by French Revolution. So French Revolution did not happen in isolation, it did not happen in the vacuum. You need to understand how French Revolution occurs. You know, the French army before French Revolution, it so happened that you must be aware that France and Britain, they are bitter enemies. They have existed as bitter enemies for centuries. There was an infamous war called the War of Roses. And the War of Roses was between Britain and France, which lasted for more than 200 years. Do you understand 200 years? Means someone's grandfather, great grandfather, great great grandfather, all have fought wars against one common country. I mean, India and Pakistan are under strain for just 75 years. And then every like child from India and Pakistan is aware of it. Imagine 200 years of war. What kind of impact, deep rooted impact, would have been generated between the French people and the British? So it so happened that the British, you know, they are traders, they are merchants, they loved colonizing the world, and it was considered that Britain ka jhanda kabhi doobta nahi hai. The sun always rises to the British flag, because whether it was Japan or it was Europe, in any part of the world, wherever the sun was setting and it was rising in another part, and wherever it was rising, there was a British flag. That means Britain had colonized maximum parts of the world. So you can understand that same Britain is having a relationship of animosity with who? It is having a relationship of animosity with the French. Now, what happens is that we can see the British, they were the ones who were trying to control United States of America as well. When the Federation was not created, when the present version of United States was not existing. So at that time, you see that Britain was trying to again colonize and control United States of America. So the Americans, they were quite devastated. तो अगर आपको दिक्कत हो रही है किसी से, आप किसको बुलाएंगे? जो भी आपका दुश्मन है, दुश्मन का दुश्मन आपका दोस्त बन जाएगा, ये तो सबको पता है. तो अमेरिकन किसको कांटेक्ट करेंगे? फ्रेंच को. सो फ्रेंच आर्मी को रिक्वेस्ट किया कि भैया आओ, थोड़ा सा अपना आर्म सप्लाई दो और हमें मदद करो. सो दैट्स हाउ यू सी बॉस्टन टी पार्टी. जब आप पढ़ोगे अमेरिकन वॉर ऑफ इंडिपेंडेंस, तो उसमें आप देखोगे कि बॉस्टन टी पार्टी होती है, और उसमें कौन जाता है? जाते हैं फ्रेंच सोल्जर्स. So when the French soldiers, they go and they support the American war of independence. And when the French soldiers go, they are like, "Arey, yahan to koi king hi nahi. There is no king. In America, you never had a king. It was always traders and merchants ruling themselves. So like, there are no kings. There are traders and merchants who are ruling. So what a wonderful system. Can't we have it in like back home? Why do we need such a king and such a queen?" You know, this Mary Antoinette, when the exchequer, or rather we can say the king, was like lurking in a situation where the treasury was almost gone. They did not have any major savings left for probably even fighting a war or for fighting a famine or drought. Still, they were living a life of luxury, whereby I still remember I had read that Mary Antoinette, she was such a crazy woman. You know, the way kids play doll house, you must have seen that. In the similar manner, one day she fancied that, let me play like a village woman's role. So she got a fake village done. In a fake village like kitchen was created. Animals were kept in the barn. There were servants who were kept to be dressed up like villagers, and they were supposed to behave like villagers. But at the same time, they were supposed to, like, milk the cow, and they were supposed to get like the grain and pound the grain and all that stuff. And they were supposed to assist the queen in the kitchen. And she used to act as if she's preparing meals, but she couldn't. She was just standing and maneuvering. Then she used to like sit with the king, call his friends, and they used to play like we can say village. Now that might sound very crazy for you. That grown-up adults playing village, the king assisting all that, and all this becoming an expensive fan affair because you are making a fake village, fake huts, fake infrastructure in a situation where your country is suffering from poverty and people are dying due to hunger. That was terrible. Anyway, so these French soldiers, they come back from America and they are all angered, furious. And now they have an alternative. They have learned the alternative. And what's the alternative? A system which is free from free. They don't want the king. The merchants of the country, they don't want the king. Why? Because they are able to see this possibility that the absence of the king can aid and assist. The absence of the king can help in the running of the business smoothly or successfully. सब ऑनलाइन बच्चा जिंदा है, सबको समझ में आ रहा है. I believe everyone can just understand. You can raise a thumb or you can just write a yes or something like that, that you are connected and you are understanding and everything is smooth and seamless. All right, fine. Okay, thank you. So all those who are raising their hand or they are like writing a yes. Now, so with respect to this, now what do we see? और ये सारा जो भी informally समझा रही हूँ ना, पूरा language में तो उस समय किसी के अंदर struggle नहीं आना चाहिए, क्या समझा दिया, नहीं समझ में आया. Today's lecture is going to be the basis. It is going to be like fixing your elementary understanding. And once you understand this, then when I'll be teaching with the formal language, formal words, you'll be connecting. For example, if I tell you American independence or French revolution पर पूरा question नहीं आता है. कभी भी question आएगा ऐसे आएगा. Discuss the political scenario which motivated the emergence of sociology as a discipline. How did the French Revolution lead to the emergence of sociology? तो आपको ये सेंस होना चाहिए कि कैसे, ठीक है. तो अमेरिकन वॉर ऑफ इंडिपेंडेंस नहीं पूछा है, फ्रेंच रेवोल्यूशन पूछा है. एक सेंटेंस सिर्फ अमेरिकन वॉर ऑफ इंडिपेंडेंस, that when the soldiers participated in the American War of Independence, they gained an insight that there can be a form of governance without the king. This paved the way along with the intellectual inquiries for the French Revolution. समझ में आया? फिर फ्रेंच रेवोल्यूशन में क्या होता है उसका और बैकग्राउंड है. तो उसका दूसरा बैकग्राउंड क्या देखते हैं? दूसरा है इकोनॉमिक वाला सेगमेंट. Economically, people are suffering, they are impoverished, and the traders and merchants, they want a rule where they get a free hand to play. They get a free situation to go ahead with their trading, with their commercial activities. Now, king can regulate that. So they learned that in America, people are voting. Athens का example ancient world का था, लेकिन अमेरिका वाला example recent था. So they realized that if we introduce something like voting, that is democracy. So with democracy, we can have our own elected representatives. Elected representatives का क्या फायदा है? एक कैपिटलिस्ट आज भी पॉलिटिशियन को इन्फ्लुएंस कर सकता है कि नहीं? मुझे ठेका पट्टा दे दो. You know crony capitalism? What is crony capitalism? In GS, you must have heard. What is crony capitalism? What is the spelling of crony capitalism? CRONY. ठीक है, जिसको नहीं पता वो लिख भी लेगा कहीं पे. CRONY, crony capitalism. What is crony capitalism? When the capitalist and the politician are in hand in glove relationship. Okay, so when the politician and the capitalist, they have informally agreed upon or they are in hand in glove relationship to make certain compromises and favors extended to each other, and the public is unaware of it. Public is unaware. What is exploited? Government resources are exploited. What government exploited? जैसे अडानी को दे दिया लैंड लीज पर 100 years, 200 years of lease, and amount is paid in peanuts. Land which is worthy of crores, suppose payment is made in lakhs. Got it? So that is how crony capitalism unfolds. You suppose you do not make a, like let us say you don't go for tender. Tender तो सब कोई भरेगा ना. So suppose आप बिना टेंडर किए और बिना कोई फेयर नीट एंड फेयर एक्सरसाइज किए सीधे उसको या टेंडर निकाले लेकिन नीट एंड फेयर तरीके से टेंडर नहीं दिया, आपने सपोज अडानी अडानी को दे दिया या अंबानी को दे दिया. सो दैट इज समथिंग विच इज गोइंग आउट ऑफ द वे and providing some, when you go out of the way and you provide some kind of exclusive favor. So when the political leader provides exclusive favor to who? To the capitalist. That is referred as crony capitalism. Who facilitates that? A bureaucrat. Bureaucracy facilitates that silently. Because in the absence of bureaucratic support, this cannot happen. That's why executive and legislature, they both are hand in glove when they are facilitating the same for the capitalist. Are you understanding that? तो ये अब आपको कुछ नया insight मैं दे रही हूँ. That is crony capitalism, government and private company help each other and provide benefit. Yeah, in simple language you can say it like that as well. Okay. So in that situation, now you can understand इसकी नींव कब धरी जा रही थी? European history. Now that may come as a surprise because no one in European history is going to talk about how crony capitalism is unfolding. So when we see industrialization started unfolding in 16th, 17th century. So with industrialization, rapid urbanization started happening. With industrialization, bulk production started happening. And when bulk production started happening, people wanted to yes, trade freely, distribute freely, sell freely. They wanted a regulation-free market. So with industrial revolution, we see liberalism coming in existence. Have you heard the term liberalism? All of you? Have you heard the word liberalism in economy or anywhere else? You must have heard liberalization. Liberalization, LPG reforms बोलते हैं उसमें L क्या है? Liberalization. Liberalization आज का टाइम है. Zation means process of becoming liberal. पर इसका roots कहां से है? इसकी नींव कब से धरी गई? 16th, 17th century itself. So that is called liberalism. So liberalism ये आया 16th, 17th century. Liberalism किस चीज को encourage करता है? So liberalism encourages free trade, right? Regulation free market. Regulation free market. लिबरलिज्म और किसको सपोर्ट करेगा? यस, ईज ऑफ बिजनेस, है ना? ईज ऑफ बिजनेस. वो और क्या चाहेगा? यस पीपल, फ्री कंपटीशन, कंपटीशन फ्री मार्केट. सो फ्री कंपटीशन, जितना प्रोड्यूस करने का मन किया उतना प्रोड्यूस कर ले, जो दाम रखने का मन किया कर लिया, राइट? तो लिबरलिज्म किसके वजह से आया? इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन, इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन, राइट? इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन जब आएगा तो इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन से क्या होगा? अर्बनाइजेशन होगा. अर्बनाइजेशन के अलावा माइग्रेशन होगा लेबर का, है ना? माइग्रेशन ऑफ लेबर फ्रॉम रूरल टू अर्बन एरियाज, राइट? सो माइग्रेशन ऑफ लेबर, वही लेबर जाकर कहां बैठेगा? अर्बन एरिया के स्लम्स में, राइट? सो इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन के वजह से भी हम सोशल चेंज देखें. इट इज ऑल्सो कॉजिंग चेंज, इकोनॉमिक एंड सोशल चेंज. कैन एवरीवन अंडरस्टैंड दैट? राइट? सो इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन ये सब चेंज कॉज करेगा. फ्री ट्रेड, रेगुलेशन फ्री मार्केट, ईज ऑफ बिजनेस, फ्री कॉम्पिटिशन. एंड हु इज लीडिंग दिस इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन? द कैपिटलिस्ट, द बिजनेसमैन, द ट्रेडर्स, राइट? And they now realize that if the king is there and king is given too much of importance as it was given in 15th, 16th century, that the king's voice is voice of God. Whatever the king says is the final word. So when people, they start realizing that the king's word is the final word, they realize that why should it be the final word? Because if the king wants, then my business is prospering. But if the king doesn't want, my business won't prosper. Can you connect? So when people start feeling that it is the king's approval which is aiding and assisting and easing the business, king की इच्छा मेरा business ठीक चल रहा है, king की इच्छा नहीं है मेरा business नहीं चलेगा, ये तो problematic है. तो ये इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन जब आना शुरू होता है तो इसी में ये लोग क्या एनकरेज करते हैं? भाई Xiaomi 24074, why you trying to fool around with the pen? Please don't. Okay? मैं समझ रही हूँ मन में आ रहा हो कि चल लाओ लिख कर देखिए, मजा आ रहा है लिख कर, मत करो, ठीक है? बिकॉज दिस विल एनकरेज द पॉसिबिलिटी ऑफ लाइक मुझे एनोटेशन मिटाना पड़ेगा. अच्छा ठीक है, आप लोग खुद खेल ले रहे हैं एनोटेशन मिटाकर, अच्छी बात है. सो मैं समझ रही हूँ बच्चों के अंदर क्यूरियोसिटी बोल रही थी. चलो यहाँ पर देखो. सो when we are talking about it, we need to understand that with respect to the 16th, 17th century, we are seeing that the capitalists are coming into the game. They are trying to change the game. But before the 16th, 17th century, when we are talking about the capitalists, their condition, they are seeing the king. And the king is the representative of God. So how can they define the representative of God? They didn't want feudal lords. They didn't want council of ministers. They never supported oligarchy because they felt more number of people who are taking decision, greater the problem. So initially, the capitalists, they are supporting whom? So you'll see that initially the capitalists are supporting the king, but later they realize even supporting the king is a mess. So they realized जब फ्रेंच रेवोल्यूशन के जस्ट पहले क्या हुआ था, अमेरिकन वॉर ऑफ इंडिपेंडेंस, तो उन्हें अमेरिकन वॉर ऑफ इंडिपेंडेंस से उनको आइडिया लगा, क्या आइडिया लगा कि कैपिटलिस्ट के अलावा, मतलब किंग के अलावा कैपिटलिस्ट भी रूल कर सकता है. And how can the capitalist rule and influence decision making? So the capitalist can influence decision making by bringing democracy. So you'll see that the capitalists, they started funding the intellectuals. Right? So it is the capitalists who start funding the intellectuals. Why? Because the intellectuals are the ones who will be talking about what? The intellectuals are the ones who will be talking about the idea of democracy. They will be the ones who will be talking about the idea of liberty. They will be the ones who will be talking about the idea of fraternity, equality, right? यही लोग ये सब बात करेंगे ना. तो ये लोग बोलेंगे बोलो बोलो और बोलो, यही सब बोलो. Because जब तुम लोग ऐसा बोलोगे तो क्या होगा, किंग को हटाना होगा. Can equality remain if king is there? Because it is an unequal system. Someone is governing, rest are getting governed. It is democracy in which you can actually experience liberty, fraternity, equality, and such similar values, tolerance, etc. So they started supporting, we see the capitalists, they started funding and supporting the intellectuals who are talking about the ideas like these, like democracy, liberty, fraternity, etc. And we see that when these ideas, they start gaining importance, when we see that these ideas, they start making an impetus, they start making a breakthrough, we see that the unfolding of the society with new perspectives, new insights, new ideas, it takes place, and then starts the blood revolution, the violent revolution. They knock off the king, and after killing the king, a lot of people were simultaneously killed in the next 20 years. King के कुछ ही महीने के बाद मेरी एंटोनियट को मार दिया. और आफ्टर मेरी एंटोनियट हम देखते हैं काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स धीरे धीरे जो कोई भी इन फेवर ऑफ एनी पर्सन वाज टॉकिंग इन फेवर ऑफ द किंग, those people were identified and they were hacked, sometimes at the town square, sometimes at some other, like, public place. So we see that there is a constant unfolding of these phenomena. All these phenomena, they are taught independently, but they are not independent, they are interrelated. So political change, economic change और intellectual change simultaneously हो रहा है और एक दूसरे को push कर रहा है, एक दूसरे को support कर रहा है. Economic change in the form of industrial revolution. इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन लाएगा किसका ईथोस? लिबरलिज्म का ईथोस. लिबरलिज्म में ही आपने शायद पढ़ा होगा अपने इकोनॉमिक्स के चैप्टर में लेसेस फेयर. यू हर्ड दैट? व्हाट इज लेसेस फेयर? पॉलिसी ऑफ नॉन इंटरफियरेंस, राइट? आपने सुना होगा शायद. सुना है ये लेसेस फेयर? You have not studied so far, no problem. So policy of non-interference. So policy of non-interference. Who will not interfere? The government. After laying down the rules and regulations, the government will not interfere in the functioning. So laissez-faire, which is associated with the policy of non-interference, it starts unfolding these given dimensions. समझ में आ रहा है सबको थोड़ा थोड़ा? ठीक है. तो अब ये होता है क्या? इकोनॉमिक चेंजेस अनफोल्डिंग in Europe. French Revolution. All of you can connect with that. And फिर ये French Revolution because of the intellectual revolution. The people, they are questioning there. And this is how when you start raising questions. ये मशीन बेस्ट काम करेगा, इससे बेटर भी मशीन बन सकती है. Question. ये पॉलिटिकल सिस्टम बेस्ट है या इससे बेटर भी पॉलिटिकल सिस्टम बन सकता है? क्वेश्चनिंग. Intellectual revolution, again you are questioning what is the best for the society. So all these three forms of changes जिनको मैं अभी आपसे discuss कर रही थी. So all these three forms of changes, the social changes. Yes. So all these three forms of social changes, which are economic, political, and intellectual, they start impacting the society. And whenever a society is undergoing change, people become turbulent. People become confused. People become scared that where is the society heading to? What are we heading to? What are we signing up for? Will we be having a better system? Will we be having a better possibility of existence? Are you understanding that? So social change, whenever society changes, people question. जैसे कल ही मैं discuss कर रही थी, my cousin got engaged. So I and my his father, that is my fufaji, we were just discussing. He said that imagine the rate at which people are consuming alcohol, the rate at which the youth is exposed to alcoholism and drug abuse. Then I said, yes, during my times, that is 2000 to 2003, my friends who were in IIT, so there were only three people who were taking drugs. And drugs भी क्या मतलब एक कोकेन ले रहा था लेकिन बाकी दो थे, एक हैश ले रहा था और एक मैरुआना ले रहा था. आज के डेट में मैरुआना या कैनबिस को कई सारे बच्चे हॉस्टलर्स जो बीटेक बीटेक कर रहे थे मानते ही नहीं है कि ड्रग्स है, उनको लगता है बाबा जी की बूटी है. 80% of the hostlers, they are consuming drugs. So I was like, the condition is so bad that in our times we used to identify those three boys. Ah, ye teen le raha hai. So badi baat. But today it is so rampant that I heard that students in Uttarakhand, like those who are living in hostels in posh schools, as young as standard 7 and 8, they are smoking cannabis. So that's a very scary phenomenon that a child is not even 16, 14 years old, 15 years old and smoking cannabis. What's wrong with them? So whenever a society undergoes change, people ask, कहाँ जा रहे हैं? क्या होने वाला है? Civil war like situation होगा. Youth अगर irresponsible हुआ हम कहाँ बढ़ेंगे? तो बस वही situation यूरोप की थी. यूरोप में massive change हो रहा है. Economically, politically, intellectually, when everyone is questioning the existing order, a new order will emerge. And whenever a new order emerges, it doesn't emerge immediately. People undergo transition. There are two types of people. One, who support change. Those who support change are radicals. But there are second type of people who are conservatives. Conservatives are the people, नहीं पुराना order ठीक था, वही चलना चाहिए. Change नहीं आना चाहिए. पहले ही कितना सब कुछ ideal था, better था. There was a better way of existence, respecting others, this and that. So let the old order prevail, exist. Let not change come. यही सेम चीज यूरोप में हुआ. So the radicals were supporting the change, the new order, the new possibility, and the conservatives were talking about order, love, stability. Truth is, society needs both. Society needs change as well as the aspiration for order, stability, fraternity, and love. Only in moments of stability and we can consider order that we can understand that the possibility of exercising love can be there. If there is lack of stability, people will feel unsure. If people feel unsure psychologically, they cannot trust each other. If there is absence of trust, love can never be there. Understanding this? You don't find all these insights in sociology books. But this is what sociology truly engages in, this wholesome insight that I create in the class. So only when the people they start understanding that how the society is unfolding, why the society is unfolding, what is it heading to, it is then that we see the guys like Saint Simon comes into existence. Saint Simon, who's realizing, oh, society is undergoing tremendous change and people are not adjusting to the change comfortably. They are not comfortable with the change. Then guys like Saint Simon will be like, what should be the thing that should prevail? Why is the change happening? What should be the actual order? Can I do something about it to fix the order? Can I do something about it to, make things happen? So how can I let things unfold? How can I make things happen? ये कौन बोलेगा? People like Saint Simon. Saint Simon, अकाल मृत्यु हो जाती है. He does not survive for long. He dies early, and then the responsibility is shifted to Auguste Comte. Auguste Comte, he takes up the insight that yes, we can have a discipline which can provide solutions to the problems. There can be a discipline which can make systematic inquiry, systematic and scientific inquiry, why problems are existing and what can be the formidable solutions to those problems. Can you understand that? So it is Auguste Comte who's considered as father of sociology. And why is he considered as father of sociology? Because unlike Saint Simon, his contribution increases. Saint Simon, he could have, but he could not survive for long. So it is Saint Auguste Comte who found that this term social physics can no more exist, and it is sociology the term that should exist for this discipline. ये term sociology Auguste Comte ने ही दिया. क्यों? उसी समय में क्या हुआ था ना, during that time period when Auguste Comte was there, at that time period it so happened there was a lady who was a statistician, and her research paper became very famous, and that research paper was named as social physics. So he said if we continue with the term social physics for this discipline, it will create a lot of confusion, because social physics, the term is more popular for statistics, that this woman has done the statistical research related to the given society. So what he did was he changed the name social physics to sociology. Okay, and that's why father of sociology is referred to Auguste Comte. But before Auguste Comte, if we name one person, that is Saint Simon. Is it making sense to each one of you? Right? Okay. Now, what happens is that when we see that they try to provide formidable solutions to the social problems which the society is undergoing, जो society problem या challenges झेल रही है, उसका solution कौन provide करना शुरू किया? Thinkers like Auguste Comte. क्या होना चाहिए? What ought to be there? तो कई लोगों ने प्रतिरोध किया. Many people protested. They said that why do we need sociology? I mean, what is society? What is sociology study? What is the subject matter of sociology? अभी subject matter जो है ना, scope of the subject. What is scope? Scope means subject matter. Scope means something new, means the boundary. Scope means the content. इस सब्जेक्ट का स्कोप क्या है, मतलब कंटेंट क्या है, इसकी बाउंड्री क्या है, पेरिफेरी क्या है, what is the subject matter, what is it dealing with, right? So a lot of people, they started raising the question that what is the scope of this subject, what is it that it is teaching? Is it teaching economy? So we already have economics as a discipline. Is it teaching polity or the political order? We have political science as a discipline. Is it teaching history? We have history as a discipline. So anything that this discipline is teaching, we already have a subject for it. So why do we need sociology? ये जबरदस्ती कान पूछ पकड़कर जोड़कर एक नया सब्जेक्ट क्यों बनाया जा रहा है, ये क्वेश्चन उठाया गया. ऐसा क्या नया पढ़ा रहा है? मार्केट पढ़ा रहा है इकोनॉमी में, ट्रेडिंग बता रहा है इकोनॉमी में, लेबर का प्लाइट बता रहा है इकोनॉमी में, हिस्ट्री बता रहा है हिस्ट्री के सब्जेक्ट में, बैकग्राउंड समझा रहा है हिस्ट्री में, पॉलिटिकल ऑर्डर समझा रहा है पॉलिटिक्स पॉलिटिकल साइंस में. So what is this discipline actually teaching? What is so unique about it? What is so different about it? Right? You can now also feel that, oh yes, what is this discipline all about? And that is why it qualifies as the second bullet point of this chapter, scope of the subject. जब इन थिंकर से पूछा गया पढ़ा क्या रहे, क्या पढ़ाओगे, क्या रिसर्च करोगे, किस चीज पर रिसर्च करोगे, then these people, they say that, well, when we are going ahead with this discipline, when we are trying to engage with this discipline, then we are going to discuss, or we are going to understand a lot of insights associated with what the society is undergoing. So there are different thinkers who came into existence to explain this scope. एक स्कूल ऑफ थिंकर्स बोलते हैं जिनको कि हम सिंथेटिक स्कूल बोलते हैं. ठीक है, सिंथेटिक स्कूल. तो ये जो सिंथेटिक स्कूल के स्कूल थिंकर्स हैं, ये बोले कि नहीं सुनो, सोशियोलॉजी जो है ना, ये दो सब्जेक्ट को मिक्स कर कर आपको बताएगा. मतलब आप मान लो लेबर पढ़ रहे हो, डिवीजन ऑफ लेबर पढ़ रहे हो, ये सारा कुछ आप पढ़ रहे हो, लेकिन आप उसको सिर्फ इकोनॉमिक पर्सपेक्टिव से पढ़ रहे हो. आप ये नहीं पढ़ रहे व्हाट इज हैपनिंग टू द लेबर, व्हाट इज द कंडीशन ऑफ द लेबर, what is the life that the labor is living, what are the labor class in general exposed to, what are the laws to safeguard them, what are the conditions which their children should be promised, are the children getting good quality education, health care, is the labor living in good quality residential facilities, are there clean toilets or not, are they living in a disease free environment. So basically what is the condition? So is economy studying about it? No. Is political science studying about it? No. So they said that, well, we will combine the insights from economy, from politics, along with unique insights which sociology can give to understand the society from the perspective of what the labor is living. So we will give our own unique insights, but we will not resist other disciplines. We'll borrow insights a bit from economy, a bit from political science, a bit from psychology, a bit from all disciplines, but we will also provide our own unique take to this community, our own unique insight to this community. Are you understanding this? Right? समझ में आया? तो ये सिंथेटिक स्कूल बोला, हम देखो सिंथेटिक वर्ड समझ रहे हो? सिंथेटिक कपड़ा सुना है? What does the word synthesis? Synthesis means mixing two. So in the similar manner, the synthetic school was open to mix two disciplines and create the scope or the boundary or the subject matter of sociology. समझ में आ गया? फिर एक दूसरा आता है फॉर्मलिस्टिक स्कूल. ठीक है? और जो फॉर्मलिस्टिक स्कूल है, इसने बोला दैट सोशियोलॉजी में जो पढ़ाया जाए वो यूनिक टू सोशियोलॉजी, वो कोई और डिसिप्लिन नहीं पढ़ाए. जैसे अब वो सोचना शुरू किए, वैसे उन लोगों ने देखा कौन कौन सा सब्जेक्ट है कोई और नहीं पढ़ा रहा है, वो हम लोग पढ़ा देंगे. जैसे पॉपुलेशन एक्सक्लूसिवली कोई नहीं पढ़ा रहा है, हम पढ़ाएंगे एक्सक्लूसिवली. अर्बनाइजेशन के फिनोमेना में अर्बन सोसाइटी कैसे इवॉल्व हो रही है, उसके कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स क्या है, कोई नहीं पढ़ा रहे, हम पढ़ाएंगे. So this school or this list of thinkers associated with this school, they started thinking that let us create a unique list of topics or chapters which no one else is providing, but we will be teaching. It will be unique to us. Understanding that? So this is the second approach or the second insight. Understood, everyone? Now comes the third possibility. The third possibility, you will be realizing it जब मैं आपको Talcott Parsons को समझाऊंगी. He is trying to create grand theories, and along with grand theories, he is trying to create a system or a structure to study the society. ठीक है? ये सब मैं बहुत डिटेल में आपको पढ़ाने वाली हूँ. ठीक है? You get proper questions, 10 marker questions on these topics. अभी सिर्फ ओवरव्यू दे रही हूँ कि कौन सा टॉपिक क्या करने वाला है, क्या किस टॉपिक में हम पढ़ने वाले, ताकि एक आइडिया बना. अच्छा, ये जो वर्ड है ना स्कूल, whenever we talk about this given insight associated with the word school, we all need to connect with the given possibility that what all dynamics can be incorporated. So when we are talking about the term school in sociology, you need to understand that this word school is associated with a list of thinkers who incorporate the approach related to a given situation, possibility, issue. So a school will be associated with a list of thinkers having a definite approach or a perspective how to witness the situation, witness the issue, or witness the problem. Okay, so again I repeat myself, it will be a group of thinkers having a common perspective or approach. समझ में आ रहा है? ठीक है? तो ये वर्ड हमारे चैप्टर 1 चैप्टर 2 में बार बार आए. तो स्कूल किससे कनेक्टेड होता है? स्कूल मतलब वो स्कूल नहीं जो बचपन में आप लोग गए. द वर्ड स्कूल, जैसे शिकागो स्कूल, फॉर्मलिस्टिक स्कूल, ये सब वर्ड आप सुनेंगे. ठीक है? हर दिन आपको नया वर्ड सीखना है. टोल्ड यू विल बी लर्निंग न्यू टर्म्स. सो टुडे यू आर लर्निंग दिस वर्ड स्कूल. बचपन में आपने सुना होगा स्कूल ऑफ फिश. तो स्कूल ऑफ फिश में क्या होता था? अ ग्रुप ऑफ फिश वाज कॉल्ड एज अ स्कूल ऑफ फिश. हैव यू हर्ड दैट? नो? दैट मींस ग्रामर थोड़ा सा लूज है, कोई बात. ठीक है? So like for example, if I'm saying that there are a group of lion, उसके लिए क्या बोलते हैं? A pride of lion. ठीक है? अब याद आ रहा है थोड़ा थोड़ा सबको? तो pride of lion, a school of fish. तो स्कूल, अब आपको जैसे स्कूल ऑफ फिश आपको अब याद आ रहा है, तो एक ग्रुप ऑफ फिश को कॉमन सी फिश है तो स्कूल कह रहे हैं. अलग अलग अतरंगी रंग बिरंगी फिश है, उसको स्कूल ऑफ फिश नहीं कहा जाता है. A common variety of fish when they are together, it is called a school of fish. क्यों ये विजुअल्स दिया? ताकि अब मैं जब बोलूंगी स्कूल ऑफ थिंकर्स, स्कूल ऑफ थॉट, तो समझ में आए ग्रुप ऑफ थिंकर्स हैविंग सिमिलर अप्रोच, सिमिलर पर्सपेक्टिव, सिमिलर आइडियोलॉजी. Is it making sense? Right? So this term school, it will resonate multiple times in my lecture in the forthcoming sessions. ठीक? और यही थिंकर्स फिर आगे क्या करेंगे? सोशियोलॉजी को कंपेयर करेंगे. कंपैरिजन विद अदर सोशल साइंसेस मींस how sociology is similar to history yet different from history. Similar to psychology, yet different from psychology. Similar to political science, yet different from political science. Because we are talking about what? We are talking about human beings. हम इंसानों की बात कर रहे हैं. So how human beings, when we are studying about human beings, we cannot study in isolation. The politics will get connected to economy, economy will get connected to psychology, psychology will get connected to history, right? So we will see that along with scope, we will be studying the comparison. Comparison means how sociology is closer to the discipline, yet different from it. Okay, so there are a lot of disciplines from philosophy and sociology, psychology and sociology, anthropology and sociology, political science and sociology, history and sociology, all the popular ones. And इस पर भी 10 number का question आता है, like distinguish between sociology and social anthropology. What is the relationship between philosophy and sociology? 10 mark. Okay, so ये भी एक 10 marker question अक्सर बनता है. अगर यूपीएससी कभी इस एरिया से 20 मार्कर क्वेश्चन बनाना चाहेगा तो क्या करेगा? आपको दो सब्जेक्ट दे देगी. डिस्कस द रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन सोशियोलॉजी, साइकोलॉजी एंड फिलोसफी. डिस्कस द रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन हिस्ट्री, इकोनॉमी एंड सोशियोलॉजी. So it will create two possibilities, then only it can become a 20 marker question, else it will be a 10 marker question. Understanding this? 20 marker question ऊपर वाले bullet point का भी हो सकता है, that is modernity वाले से भी हो सकता है. How? So the examiner can like probably give you, discuss how the French Revolution and Industrial Revolution paved the way for the emergence of sociology as a discipline. 20 marker. So 10 marker goes for French Revolution and 10 marker goes for industrial revolution. Got it? So that's how it can become a 20 marker. Otherwise, it will remain a 10 marker question. दूसरा तरीका 20 marker बनाने का क्या है? कोई दूसरे चैप्टर से कनेक्ट कर, जैसे फैमिली उठाया, so modernity and social change in Europe, emergence of sociology, and then how the institution of family is getting impacted by it. So that's the second part. So again, 10 marker, 20 marker. And that's how UPSC will play along with you. Then comes this problem. People say anything that sociology is studying, it is so close to common sense. मतलब अगर हम बोलते हैं सोसाइटी में मैन या वुमन में किसका ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंस है, तो कोई बोल देगा वो मैन का. चारों तरफ देख सकते हैं, men are in leadership positions. Men are the ones who are taking authoritative position in majority of the sectors, majority of the areas. They are exposed to higher education. More number of men are exposed to technical education. More number of men are into leadership jobs, etc. So the society is pretty patriarchal. ये वो है ना. Common sense जब हम बोलेंगे, अगर मान लिया आपसे कोई बोलेगा कि how is the society? It is patriarchal. Why? बोले नहीं ऐसा ही होता है, यही होता है. So the moment someone is saying this is how it happens, this is how it is, that becomes common sense. But the moment someone is saying why is the society patriarchal, and someone says let us explore the causes behind it. In ancient time, people who could hunt better, people who could control the resources better, became or they climbed the authoritative positions because men had more muscular strength, so they could hunt better. Because they had more muscular strength, they could fight whenever there was a fight between two tribes, two communities. It was men who could fight better because they had greater muscular strength, they had more, we can say, stronger physical frame. It was men, because of that physical strength, they could control physical areas, land. With physical strength, they could tame animals, domesticate animals. And that is how, over the course of history, men started controlling the resources and they took authoritative position. And that is how they must have started controlling the women. That this woman shall cohabit only with me, and the child born out of the moment man must have realized, this is what Karl Marx says, okay, that the moment the man must have realized his role in paternity, इसीलिए माना जाता है एंशिएंट वर्ल्ड में पहले मेट्रियार्कल सोसाइटीज थी. It is only later day that when man realized his role in paternity, that he started, जब आदमी को पता चला उसका रोल क्या है एक बच्चे के जन्म में, तो he started controlling the body of a woman, that no other man should cohabit with you. Only I shall cohabit so that the child who is born out of me is the one who's controlling the land or resources that I leave behind. तो ये आदमी मान लो मार पीट के झगड़ के पूरा हल्ला गुल्ला करके सब जोड़ लिया, खूब सारा जमीन, खूब सारा एनिमल्स, ये वो, लेकिन उसको पता है वो अमर नहीं है, मरेगा पक्का, बुढ़ा होगा मरेगा. So the moment the man realizes that I shall die, my life has a limitation to it. I shall not exist beyond a point. So the moment a man realizes that I cannot exist beyond a point, what happens? What happens? The person will want a sense of legacy, a sense of continuity. How will the legacy come? Only when the person is very sure about his paternity of the child. So when the man realizes the with surety the paternity of the child, the man will try to control the womb of the woman so that no other man cohabits. And whatever is born is his child only. And that's how the institution of family comes forward as an existence. That's why Karl Marx says that the institution of family and marriage is nothing but an exploitative tool by the men for the women, whereby in a society men are the haves and the women are the have-nots. Surprising, right? तो अगर कॉमन सेंस का कोई जवाब देता है, व्हाई आर मेन लीडिंग द प्रेजेंट सोसाइटी, और कोई बोलता है ऐसा ही होता है, दिस इज हाउ इट हैपेंस, दिस इज हाउ थिंग्स वर्क, दैट्स अ कॉमन सेंस आंसर. But the moment someone gets into to the inquiry, the scientific inquiry, the systematic inquiry, what must have happened due to which men must have taken position of authority and they must have continued in positions of authority. Okay, so they must have taken the positions of authority and continued the positions of authority. That is how patriarchy must have unfolded. Men must have taken the positions of authority. Understanding that? ये बात आगे आएगी कहाँ? Patriarchy is a subtopic in the topic of social stratification. Then I'll tell you, remember in the first day, I had given this reference. So sociology will give, it will give systematic responses, scientific responses to whatever is existing. So what is the difference between common sense and sociology? What is the difference? Common sense and sociology? Common sense does not encourage inquiry. Common sense does not encourage inquisitiveness. It does not encourage cause-effect reasoning. Common sense encourages believability. It just gives you an information and it expects that you will believe it. You will just take it for the sake of it. Got it? Whereas sociology, what will sociology do? What will sociology do? Yes, it will promote thinking, inquiry, systematic questioning. Is it making sense? Yes. So this is when we are talking about it, that is how things start unfolding. All right. So sociology and common sense, everyone can connect with it. Yes. Clear हो रहा है सबको? ठीक है. अब यहाँ पर आपको दिखाते हैं. तो सोशियोलॉजी एंड कॉमन सेंस जब हम बात कर रहे हैं और इसमें हम ये अंडरस्टैंड कर रहे हैं कि लाइक किस तरीके से सोशियोलॉजी एंड कॉमन सेंस अनफोल्ड होता है, इनका रिलेशनशिप क्या है. तो जब कॉमन सेंस के कोई भी अगर इंसाइट्स, कोई भी कॉमन सेंस से रिलेटेड हमारा इंसाइट, अगर उसी पर हम साइंटिफिक इंक्वायरी करेंगे तो सोशियोलॉजी का सब्जेक्ट मैटर बन जाएगा. कोई भी इशू, जैसे मान लीजिए अगर कहा जाता है इंडियंस बहुत चटपटा खाते हैं, they eat a lot of spicy food, the food is dominated by spices. Someone suppose makes this comment, some foreigner makes this comment, Indian eat a lot of spicy food. So till the time you are making this as a Indian eats spicy food, yes, it's not a sociological insight, it's just a common sense. But the moment people start inquiring why, in which regions specifically, in which regions people have spicy food and in which regions people don't have spicy food, what are the patterns of eating spicy food, is there a season to spicy food, are you getting it? So the moment someone says no, in traditional India, going by the Ayurvedic methods of eating, there were specific seasons in which spicy food was necessary. We are living in a tropical country. If we sweat, if we sweat, we are able to, we are able to like produce with sweating, we are able to produce more possibility, more energy. जैसे आप डल फील कर रहे हैं, आप स्पाइसी फूड खाइए, एकदम चटक पटक आपको एकदम एनर्जी आ जाएगी. So you need a bit of like, you need a lot of hydration and sweating, and spicy food aids that. Along with that, when we are talking about it, crony capitalism, students answer. Then the art of questioning makes sociology. Yes, promoting scientific temperament. Yes, yes, all right. So when we are talking about this given possibility, when you start questioning why Indians eat spicy food, for example, if you go to a southern part of Maharashtra, extreme south, Savantwadi and all, which is adjoining Goa, you'll find people eat spicy food like anything, anything. But northern part of Maharashtra, which is adjoining Gujarat, people don't eat spicy food. In Gujarat, in fact, you can find people putting sugar in everything, including pulses, dal. दाल बॉईल करेंगे उसमें भी थोड़ी सी चीनी डाल देंगे स्वाद की. मुझे नहीं समझ में आता है क्यों, लेकिन ठीक है, वैसा ही स्वाद डेवलप्ड है. यू कैन नॉट क्वेश्चन. You can just see that how people are eating and what is the reason behind. Okay, so simultaneously you will be seeing that in northeastern parts of India, people believe in enjoying the taste of the vegetables or the meat independently, not eating spicy suddenly. But few things they really love spices. And then you have the bhut jolokia, which is the spice, which is a chili. We're also called raja mircha. It's like the bhut jolokia or raja mircha is like a little chili which is like black in color, and a very tiny bit of it can leave you sweating for hours together. So they have the same chili. So if they are really wanting to eat spicy thing, then they'll use that. Anyway, what I imply to say is the moment you start asking why, the same content which is studied in common sense, the same content which is popular in common sense, that same content becomes sociological in nature. It gets connected to the chapters, it gets connected to the insights per se. So, sociology and common sense, the difference is the nature of inquiry, the nature of thinking when we speak of it. All right. I believe all of you can connect. Yes, the art of questioning makes up sociology. Yes, agreed. So, when you're understanding this, that's why when you're understanding the sociology and common sense correlation, this guides us to the second chapter. And what is the second chapter? Sociology as science. Then you start inquiring, is sociology a science? So for making this inquiry, what do we see? So for making this inquiry, we see that first and foremost in this chapter, you will understand, as you can see the syllabus, you can understand what do we imply by the word science. What do we understand by scientific method? What procedures or steps qualify as scientific method? And what is the criticism of science? What is the limitation of science? Is sociology suffering from that same limitation? Or is sociology free from that limitation? So what is science? What is scientific method and its criticism? Then you will have major theoretical strands, okay, of research methodology. So what is major theoretical strands of research methodology? Here we get connected to the schools, the different schools of thought. So one research school will say that, well, sociology should be studied like science. And that is called the positivist school. The one who considers that sociology should be studied as natural science. That school of thought is considered as, or it is called as, positivist school. Understanding this? Positivist school. Whereas those who will be saying that no, 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 sociology is dealing with human beings. Sociology is doing with human possibilities. It is dealing with human societies. So how can we study it? Like we can consider as a natural science. Two human beings may behave differently. So if two human beings can behave differently, then how can we consider it to be the possibility of, we can consider that, how can we consider that two human beings who are behaving in this different manner, how can we consider that we can arrive at a theory? Science is science only we can make theories and laws in it when we are arriving at common result in every situation. For example, suppose this door is there and a person moves out of the door, और बाहर डोर के कोई खड़ा है और जैसे ही कोई निकला उसको गाल पे मारा चट, एक थप्पड़, वो एक चाटा खाया और करके भाग गया, बोला मैं बाहर कोई चाटा मारना है, एक रिस्पॉन्स. दूसरा बच्चा निकला, जैसे खाया चट, तो वहां से झुक के भाग गया. तीसरा बच्चा वहां क्लास से निकला और वो खाया चट, और खाते ही वो क्या किया, उस बच्चे का हाथ मोड़ दिया, बोला मार क्यों रहा है, मैं नहीं मार सकता हूँ क्या, रुक मारो बात करो. दैट्स अ थर्ड रिस्पॉन्स. एंड फोर्थ हुआ क्या कि मानो चौथा बच्चा निकला, वो खाया चट और पकड़ के उसको पीटना चालू कर दिया, ले एक चाटेगा चार, ठीक है। सो नाउ द थिंग इज फोर पीपल कैन हैव फोर टाइप्स ऑफ रिस्पॉन्सेस। सो हाउ कैन वी हैव अ कॉमन थियरी, हाउ कैन वी हैव अ कॉमन लॉ? और अगर कॉमन थियरी नहीं बन रही है तो क्या सोशियोलॉजी एक साइंस है भी या नहीं है, ये डिबेट शुरू हो जाएगा। फिर फैक्ट, वैल्यू, ऑब्जेक्टिविटी, ये तीनों बात आप जानते हैं। साइंस कभी भी साइंस कब है? व्हेन देयर इज फैक्ट इन्वॉल्व्ड इन इट। वैल्यू, वैल्यू कब है? व्हेन देयर इज सब्जेक्टिविटी इन्वॉल्व्ड इन इट। तो ये हो गया सब्जेक्टिविटी, है ना। And we all can see there is objectivity. So fact, value, objectivity. Everyone can see that. So fact और objectivity में कौन बिलीव करेगा? Positivists. Objectivity में कौन बिलीव करेगा? Positivists. तो ये positivists किस में बिलीव कर रहे हैं? Natural science. तो फैक्ट और ऑब्जेक्टिविटी बोलेंगे पॉजिटिविस्ट, और सब्जेक्टिविटी की बात करेंगे नॉन पॉजिटिविस्ट। सिंपल। तो आज आपने दो नए वर्ड सुने, स्कूल, और स्कूल के बाद पॉजिटिविज्म, नॉन पॉजिटिविज्म। पॉजिटिविस्ट क्या बोलेंगे? सोशियोलॉजी कैन बी स्टडीड एज नेचुरल साइंस, एंड नॉन पॉजिटिविस्ट विल से दैट सोशियोलॉजी कैन बी स्टडीड एज, एक तो नेचुरल साइंस है तो दूसरा क्या होगा? एज सोशल साइंस। गेटिंग इट? So how should sociology be studied? As a natural science or as a social science? That debate is discussed in the second chapter. Different types of thinkers having different types of approaches, different types of perspectives to study sociology as a discipline. I hope all of you are understanding this. Yes? Simple? So far, so good? Okay. तो नॉन पॉजिटिविज्म से ही मैं तीन और सब टॉपिक्स कनेक्ट करूंगी और आपको बताऊंगी, दैट इज फेनोमेनोलॉजी, along with this, as simple as that, आप फेनोमेना लिखते हैं वैसे ही फेनोमेनोलॉजी, और इसी से कनेक्ट होगा एथनोमेथोडोलॉजी, एथनोमेथोडोलॉजी, एंड इसी से कनेक्ट होगा सिंबॉलिक इंटरैक्शनिज्म, symbolic interactionism. So phenomenology, ethnomethodology, and symbolic interactionism. Fine. So these three approaches, or these three, we can say, ways of studying sociology will be connected to what? Subjective approach. Why? Because they are non-positivist. So non-positivist है तो approach कैसा होगा? Subjective होगा. Social science का approach होगा subjective होगा, right? और positivist का approach कैसा होगा? Fact and ऑब्जेक्टिविटी पर बेस्ड, ठीक है। तो ये लोग किस चीज पर देखेंगे? ये वैल्यूज को भी देखेंगे, सब्जेक्टिविटी को भी देखेंगे। कौन देखेंगे? द नॉन पॉजिटिविस्ट विल टेक केयर ऑफ दिस। अंडरस्टैंडिंग दिस? नाउ द मोमेंट वी रिफ्लेक्ट अपॉन द सेम, वी आर like guided to the third chapter. Because science cannot be science without research methods. Science cannot be science without analysis. So sociology, is there any scope of having research methods in sociology? Do you know what is qualitative and what is quantitative methods, people? Have you heard these terms? Majority of you are from science background. So what is quantitative method and what is qualitative method? In simple language, in simple understanding, what do you understand by it? In quantitative method, what do you do? Okay, it's more about the numbers. So suppose I do a research and I try to find out how many students sitting in the class have an approach, how many students sitting in the class have an understanding of sociology in terms of, yes, in terms of, like let us say their background. तो कितने बच्चे क्लास में बैठे उनका बीटेक बैकग्राउंड, कितने बच्चे क्लास में बैठे जिनका साइंस बैकग्राउंड, कितने बच्चे क्लास में बैठे जो डॉक्टर्स हैं, कितने बच्चे क्लास में बैठे जो कॉमर्स बैकग्राउंड, कितने बच्चे क्लास में बैठे जो आर्ट्स या ह्यूमैनिटीज के बैकग्राउंड। तो ये हो गया क्वांटिटेटिव मेथड, नंबर, हाउ मेनी, so that there we are dealing with the numbers. And what is qualitative method? Qualitative method will be, yes, how many students attentively listened to the class from the start to the end. without chit-chatting to anyone? How many students, while listening to the class, had a headphone on and were making simultaneous notes, noting down the keywords as they were getting explained? So when I get into quality, that what was the duration of listening to the session, how long the student was exclusively paying attention to what I was speaking, when I try to evaluate it by raising the questions, what do you understand by crony capitalism? What do you understand by the word school? What do you understand by the word subjectivity or value? When I ask such questions and you respond, then I'm able to check that the student was attentive or not. So qualitative method will be related to subjective analysis. Quantitative method will be associated with objective analysis, right? So that's how we all can connect. So probably I can just connect these words. So जो quantitative word है ये चला गया किसके साथ? Objectivity के साथ. और ये जो subjectivity, value ये सब किससे connect हो गया? इससे. किससे connect हो गया? Qualitative analysis. So qualitative और quantitative दोनों approaches possible किसमें है? Sociology. इसीलिए साइंस वालों के बीच ये ऑप्शनल बहुत पॉपुलर है. They find it easy to connect with this given optional because of this reason. Because a student can connect with qualitative and quantitative methods both. And because a student from science wants something which is connected to science, technically palatable, technically understandable, so the students are like, I can understand this, right? Then there are certain techniques of data collection, because in science, what do? You collect the data. So first, what do? You create a hypothesis. On the basis of hypothesis, you go for data collection. Data collection में आप कुछ variables भी रख सकते हैं और हो सकता है easy करने के लिए कुछ sampling methods भी रखें. All these keywords, you get short note questions related to the same. So how is your research to be treated as a reliable research? And how is your research being treated as a valid research? Is reliability and validity same words, or are they sounding similar but they imply different meaning? When do we say that the research was reliable and when do we say the research was valid? So what is the coterminous relationship between reliability and validity? How they are coterminous? Coterminous means सह अस्तित्व में रहने वाले लेकिन अर्थ समान न होना. Means the meaning is not the same, but they both exist together. So what is reliability? What is validity? अच्छा एक बताओ. अगर मैं बोलूंगी reliability, my friend is reliable. Reliable means I can trust. I can trust because something has been proved from the past, right? The person stood for me in the past whenever I was in crisis. That's why I say it is reliable. So in reliability, what do I see? I can see that it has been cross-verified. And because of cross-verification, we can trust it in present, right? And what is valid? आपकी मम्मी ने आपसे बोला, give me a valid explanation why you are coming at 8. Give me a valid explanation. Validity. क्या करोगे? Prove करोगे with facts. कि मैं इतने बजे यहां तक था, आने में यहां जैम हो गया, इस वजह से इस वक्त पहुंच रहा. समझ रहे? So in reliability, the component of trust is. In validity, you have to authenticate, cross-check the facts or the information. तो रिसर्च आप और मैं तो करेंगे नहीं, है ना? हम लोग क्या है? स्टूडेंट्स ऑफ सोशियोलॉजी. तो आप और मैं अगर रिसर्च नहीं करेंगे तो रिसर्च कौन करे? थिंकर्स. थिंकर्स करेंगे रिसर्च. कुछ थिंकर्स पेपर 1 के, कुछ थिंकर्स पेपर 2 के. ये लोग रिसर्च करके सोशियोलॉजी को सोशियोलॉजी एज अ डिसिप्लिन बनाए. ये थिंकर्स क्या करेंगे? ये अपने साइंटिफिक अप्रोच, बड़े 10 मिनट का क्लास. सो ये अपने साइंटिफिक अप्रोच, ठीक है? सो ये अपने साइंटिफिक अप्रोच से क्या करेंगे? सोशियोलॉजी को एस्टैब्लिश करेंगे एज अ डिसिप्लिन. सोशियोलॉजी एस्टैब्लिश्ड as a discipline, as a discipline, right? So these thinkers will use their own scientific approach to establish sociology as a discipline, right? So we will be understanding what research methods they used, What were the topics that they inquired, how they arrived at a theory or an opinion, and how that theory helps us to understand the world better. Understood? बस यही यात्रा। अब यही थिंकर्स का लिस्ट बदलेगा चैप्टर दर चैप्टर। तो शुरुआत में ये थिंकर्स के जो चैप्टर है बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट, याद रखना। 35 to 40% क्वेश्चंस ऑफ पेपर वन। ओके, सोशियोलॉजी पेपर वन जो है, आपके सोशियोलॉजी पेपर वन के 35 to 40% क्वेश्चंस थिंकर से कनेक्टेड है। समझ रहे हो? 35 to 40 मीन्स 1/3 या उससे थोड़ा ज्यादा क्वेश्चंस थिंकर से कनेक्टेड। इसको बिल्कुल गहराई से समझना है, ठीक? तो उसके साथ ही हम देखेंगे, when we will be discussing that, you will be finding topics like these: stratification and mobility. So some certain key points like equality, inequality, hierarchy, exclusion, poverty and deprivation. These are some easy words. Which thinker is talking about which topic? So that's why you have theories. Who is creating theories? Who is giving opinions? Thinkers. How will thinkers give their opinion? With their scientific research. So that's why sociology is scientific discipline. It's not something vague. It's not something which is spoken out in the blue. हवा में कुछ नहीं बोला जाता है. Whatever we say, whatever opinion we make, it is based on scientific inquiry. In the absence of scientific inquiry, it cannot be a scientific discipline per se. Understanding this? So theories of social stratification. What are these theories? इनको हम कहाँ पढ़ लेंगे? तो ये approach या school of thought में हम इसको कहाँ पढ़ लेंगे? Second chapter. In second chapter, we'll understand what is the meaning of functionalism. What is the meaning of structural functionalism? In structural functional theory or structural functional school of thought, एक thinker, Marxist thinker या conflict thinker कैसे सोचता है? In Weberian theory, how does an eclectic thinker समझ लेंगे? और कहाँ समझ लेंगे? पहले सोशल स्ट्रैटिफिकेशन ऑफ क्लास, स्टेटस ग्रुप जैसे कास्ट, जानते हैं कास्ट सिस्टम, जैसे कि जेंडर, एथनिसिटी, रेस, ठीक है, सोशल मोबिलिटी. So you need research, someone else is doing the research, so borrow their research and support in our answers, and that's how the answer will not be common sense, the answer will be sociological. Got it? It's as simple as that. So every single chapter like stratification and mobility, अगर ये पेपर वन में है, ठीक है, सोशियोलॉजी पेपर वन, तो पेपर टू में यही रहेगा, कास्ट सिस्टम और क्लास की तरह, कास्ट एंड क्लास. So I will be teaching you social stratification and mobility, and then I'll be teaching you caste and class immediately after that, so that it makes greater sense, so that there is a sense of connectivity and cohesion in the same. All right. So I hope all of you are understanding that. Yes. So this is how we will start with our chapter one tomorrow onwards. I'll be sharing the notes, just the first chapter notes, in your group, so that everyone can take a printout today itself. You can, if you want, you can start reading. Anyone working in a tablet and using the pen, you can start reading it and marking it accordingly. Do not dirty the sheet before I teach. If you want to dirty it, you can use a pencil, so that when I teach and I'm underlining, you are doing it with a pen, so that you can see the difference in the underlining and you know what should be incorporated in the notes. All right. So this is a formal introduction or an overview related to how notes should be prepared, how I would be teaching my teaching pedagogy, the nature or the types of questions which UPSC asks, and an overview related to the topics. Whereby after this chapter, that is stratification and mobility, every chapter you'll realize is in paper one, it is in paper two. Okay, so work and economic life को अगर हम छोड़ दें, तो politics and society paper one में भी है, two में भी. Religion and society paper one में भी है, two में भी. Systems of kinship paper one में भी है, two में भी. Social change and modern society paper one में भी है, two में भी. ठीक है? That's how you will be seeing. This is your paper two syllabus. First you have the Indian thinkers, as you can see. After the Indian thinkers, you can see this social background of Indian nationalism. कुछ नहीं है, A.R. देसाई का research paper का नाम ही है. So you need to understand that. Modernization of Indian tradition, Professor Yogendra Singh, और मैकिम मैरियट, मिल्टन सिंगर, ऐसे थिंकर से कनेक्टेड होगा। प्रोटेस्ट एंड मूवमेंट्स ड्यूरिंग कॉलोनियल पीरियड, सोशल रिफॉर्म, ये आपका पूरी तरह से आप देख रहे हो इंडियन हिस्ट्री का टॉपिक है, एज ऑल ऑफ यू कैन सी दिस। साइमल्टेनियसली, जैसा कि मैं आपसे बात कर रही थी, कास्ट सिस्टम देखा, सोशल स्ट्रैटिफिकेशन वहां है, यहाँ पर कास्ट सिस्टम। कास्ट सिस्टम के साथ साथ यहाँ पर आप देखेंगे क्लास, सोशल क्लासेस इन इंडिया, है ना। वहां पर आपने देखा किनशिप था पेपर वन में, यहाँ पर भी आपको देखो किनशिप मिलेगा, सिस्टम्स ऑफ किनशिप। वहां पर रिलीजन था, यहाँ पर आपको रिलीजन एंड सोसाइटी, रिलीजन मिलेगा, ठीक है। उसी तरह से सोशल चेंज एक पूरा सेक्शन है। सो यू कैन सी सोशल चेंज कई चैप्टर्स में समझाया, विजन्स ऑफ सोशल चेंज है, यू कैन सी सोशल चेंज थ्रू रूरल अर्बन। अब यहाँ पे तीन और सब टॉपिक्स निकलेगा सोशियोलॉजी पेपर टू। एक निकलेगा रूरल इंडिया, सो रूरल एंड अग्रेरियन सोशल स्ट्रक्चर ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन, यहाँ आप देखिए रूरल ट्राइबल अर्बन, तीन फॉर्म में हम इसको बांट सकते हैं। सो हियर, सॉरी, हियर यू ऑल कैन सी देयर इज रूरल एंड अग्रेरियन सोशल स्ट्रक्चर, दिख रहा है सबको, रूरल एंड अग्रेरियन सोशल स्ट्रक्चर। यही रूरल अग्रेरियन सोशल स्ट्रक्चर सेक्शन सी में रूरल अग्रेरियन ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन बन जाएगा, रूरल अग्रेरियन ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन। So I'll be teaching both these chapters simultaneously. After dealing with rural, you can also see there is a topic related to tribals, tribal communities in India. दिख रहा है, तो रूरल के बाद आ गया ट्राइबल, और रूरल ट्राइबल के बाद आ जाएगा अर्बन, यू कैन जस्ट सी दिस अर्बन। सो इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन एंड अर्बनाइजेशन इन इंडिया। दो और मिसेलेनियस सब टॉपिक्स हैं which you all can see. So politics and society you can connect, पेपर वन में भी है, टू में भी। सोशल मूवमेंट्स मैं इसी से कनेक्ट करके आगे कंटिन्यूड पढ़ा दूंगी, ठीक है। And then we have this population dynamics. So population dynamics, when we are talking about it, ये एक extra topic है, और इसके साथ last chapter of the syllabus is challenges of social transformation. इसमें mixture है, जैसे gender, gender हम कहाँ पढ़ेंगे, social stratification, patriarchy, लेकिन वो यहाँ भी आएगा, violence against. कास्ट, कास्ट कहाँ पढ़ेंगे, कास्ट सिस्टम, लेकिन यहाँ पर भी है कास्ट और कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स। पॉवर्टी, पॉवर्टी डेप्रिवेशन इनइक्वालिटी कहाँ पढ़ेंगे, सोशल स्ट्रैटिफिकेशन, उसका ग्लिम्स यहाँ पर, ठीक है। उसी तरह से एजुकेशन एंड सोशल चेंज प्रीवियस चैप्टर में, लेकिन इलिटरेसी एंड डिस्पैरिटीज ऑफ एजुकेशन के फॉर्म में यहाँ पर। रिलीजन, रिलीजन एंड सोसाइटी में यहाँ पर आप देख सकते हो कम्युनलिज्म, रिलीजियस रिवाइवलिज्म जैसे टॉपिक्स हैं। सो ये लास्ट चैप्टर है ना, ये इट इज वी कैन से कंसोलिडेशन ऑफ इनसाइट्स फ्रॉम डिफरेंट चैप्टर्स, जो उस चैप्टर में नहीं करूंगी वो यहाँ अलग से एक्सक्लूसिवली पढ़ाऊं, ठीक, अंडरस्टूड। So this is it for today. If you have any personal queries, you can ask, or you can just leave the session. My voice is not clear. I believe now it's clear. We have the, like, you know, the exclusive high speed internet. So I believe it's fine now. Can we get, yeah, you'll be getting the recorded classes, Sharmishta. This is what I had said, that every single session that I'll be taking, the recording shall also be provided, right? So the recording shall also be provided, and it shall be available till next year, May, or rather I can say 15th of June comfortably. Till 15th June, the recordings shall be available for all of you, so that as many number of times you want to listen to the session, you can listen to it. All right. So this is it for today. We shall meet again tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Sorry, 3 I'm saying, at 1 o'clock. So 1 to 3:30 is the official timing. So can't we enhance the what? So all right, everyone, the writing, I'll try to like write it in free spaces so that I can write it more clearly. When I have less spaces, then I have a tendency to write it. What you can do is you can open it in a laptop and listen to it on a headphone. Because if you're having a smaller or a tinier phone, then yes, reading can be tedious. So probably a tablet or a laptop will be easier for you to attend the sessions online, if you can. If you can't, then anytime you are struggling with a word, just let me know. I'll increase the font size. All right? Fine. Can you repeat the point of family by Marx? Oh, nothing. He just said that family is an exploitative institution for women, whereby men are the haves and women are the have-nots. All right? So thank you so much, all of you. See you soon again tomorrow at 1. Thanks.